We are live, waiting for the promo. All right, welcome everybody once again. So sorry for the delay. It is Friday, December 8th. This is our little show, Conspiracy or Not, Here We Come. Welcome everybody. I am joined currently with my pal Bart, and we have a new guest. Nils Ottensen wanted to come in and talk to us. We're going to fill in some time while we wait for Mark from Global Agenda, who is having some terrible audio trouble. He's up in Canada. He's working off of a satellite, and so he was in here a little while ago and the audio was fine, and then it just totally cut out on him. So we're going to go ahead and start, and we're going to talk about what we can. Originally, obviously, based on the title, we were going to talk about this maneuver of Jerusalem being named publicly as the new capital of Israel. We're going to cover some Elsagate. And hopefully we can get Mark in here to cover all that, because I know he's done a lot of research on that, and so have I. And if we can't get Mark in here, we're going to do what we can. So welcome everybody, and hello Nils, nice to meet you.
Yeah, hello Aaron. It was just suddenly I saw your this hangout sessions you have already did it on Skype on the 5G, so it caught my attention. So I wanted to contact you. It's not so easy to find you, but I did anyway.
Did you say not so easy to find me?
No, it was very troublesome to find you on this, but I did, you know. It's I was having some electronic trouble, you know. So
I want to let everybody know that our cohort and co-host Amy is having another terrible headache, and when she gets, I don't know if it's like, you know, qualifies as a migraine or not, but she gets these terrible headaches on occasion. So Amy will not be with us, and we hope that she gets to feeling better real soon. And so how you doing, Bart? Haven't talked to you in a little while.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I think we should mention that it is Mercury retrograde right now. And
right.
So, yeah, it seems like technology stuff is going to be a little bit wonkier than even than usual, and then maybe even wonkier depending on what kind of topics and subjects we want to tackle. So, well, fingers crossed. I hope we make it through the show without any any more weirdness.
Okay, well, in the meantime, Nils wanted to talk to me. I guess he wanted to talk to me about 5G. Nils, I guess that's what you wanted to talk about, or anything else in particular. So we invited him in to come and hang out and tell us what he knows. And so what do you got for us, Nils?
yeah, I was watching your this last show you had together, you and Bart and 2-3 other guys from England, yeah. And it was very interesting, but you seem to miss what I know about 5G.
Okay.
So that's why I was contacting you. And
yeah, that was a logical channel, and the Conscientious Objector. We did a 5G show last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what that was the show that I was watching. The 5G system is military. You all know that. But the background for the 5G is very special, because this comes from the FBI, and yeah, the uncle of Donald Trump, John Trump, was going through his papers and his findings. But what you guys didn't mention was that When Nikola Tesla was investigating this 5G, he dumped into something. He actually witnessing a conversation, and he didn't know where it was coming from. He didn't know the language. He was thinking it was coming from the moon. It was coming from different places in the sky, and it was going back and forth. And the military was, of course, very interested in this communications. And after this time, they have been developing this. And this is the 5G system that the military have been using all the time. The military was starting, DARPA was starting the internet. So we will get used to using the internet. And now they're rolling out the 5G system. And it's very interesting to see that Russian fighter planes, the newest fighter planes, they are using the 5G system for targeting weapons and everything else. It's the same system. And it's many bad things with 5G, but it's very interesting that when you see Elon Musk is talking about 5G, he is talking about communicating with the other side, and they calling this quantum computer an altar to an alien god. So this is something special. What Nikola Tesla was finding out is that the fallen angels, they live on the firmament, and the offspring that was drowned in the flood is the demons. And the 5G system is what they communicate on, this wavelength. And it's very interesting to see that they're building out this 5G system now, because what we see as the new world order is actually a repeat of the old world order. And the old world order was the conditions before the Great Flood. So all governments and these people have been making deals with these entities, and they're getting a lot of money. They have all the money in the world to pour into this big project they have, and it's very interesting to see that they are pushing this very, very hard. They don't have time to work out the kinks. Here in my neighboring country, it's already built out. It's on every second light pole by the highway. It's already the 5G black barrel antenna already built out.
So you guys, I'm going to guess from your accent, you sound Swedish or from the Netherlands or something?
No, I'm Norwegian, yeah.
Norwegian, okay. So you're saying that they've already got the micro, the mini cells on like every other light pole in your area?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? They've already got that system already up and going over there?
It's not turned on yet, but it's already installed on the light poles.
So you were saying that the 5G system is what the military uses to connect with the other side? Did you just say that?
Yeah. And this is true. You need to understand the quantum computer is not a computer per se. It's a communication device.
Give me just a second here. We have Mark back in the Hangout. I want to see if his audio is working. Mark, are you with us? Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. Glad to have you, pal.
We have contact with the other side with Mark.
Houston, we're no longer having a problem. Awesome. Welcome, Mark.
I had to reboot the computer and reboot the internet, believe it or not, because I'm on satellite, so everything's up and running. I hear now.
Yeah, great.
We got you good. We got you good here.
Thanks, Bert. All right, cool. I'm listening. I'm in.
Okay, so Nils, one of the things I know about 5G is that is a narrow bandwidth on the electromagnetic spectrum that has so far not been utilized. I mean, maybe, like you said, maybe the military has been using it all along, but it's certainly not for civilian use. It's been relatively empty space. I understand, and you also have to understand that when we do these shows, you know, you have multiple people who have all kind of different inputs. The conversation very often finds itself wandering away from the topic sometimes, and many times, you know, things that I had planned to say, they don't get said because I'm letting other people speak. So it's pretty common for us around here to, you know, plan on covering aspects of a particular topic, and then we don't always get to cover it. But go ahead and continue with what you were saying, Nils.
Yeah, when I was in the service in the military, I was in the cavalry. I was on main battle tanks, gunner on main battle tanks. The battle command system is the 5G system, and the way jet planes.
They weren't using that terminology when you were in the military. They weren't calling it 5G, right?
No. The 5G is just the civilian version of the military battle command system.
Now, they
call it 5G just to continue the 3G, the 4G, and then you have the 5G. But in the military, they call it the millimeter system.
Yeah, they're millimeter waves. Then the part about that I understand is that those millimeter waves are very easily absorbed by basically biological things, trees, plants, people, animals.
Yeah.
So, you know, your biology actually absorbs that radiation, and it's very damaging to your DNA. And it works like a microwave oven. It actually heats the cells, things like that. My brother was in the military many years ago, and he was basically a diesel mechanic. And he told me a story about they had a satellite uplink, and it was a microwave dish satellite uplink that they had. And when they set this thing up, he said all the vegetation in about 30-foot radius around this thing would just die.
Yes, this is the millimeter system, and the reason they use it is because they're penetrating everything. When I was in the military on the battle tanks on the Leopard 1 A4, we was using thermic sights. The thermic sights.
I'm not. You're using what? Say that again.
Thermic, heat sights.
Thermic.
Thermic. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Thermic sights. Yeah. So, but the thermic sights is not good enough because they are not penetrating. They're only using the temperature change to show people. In the wintertime, for example, the thermic sight, you can see infantryman lying flat on the ground under a tree because you can see the glow from him, you know, the halo under the tree, and you can see where it was. The 5G system is different because it shows everything. You can count people inside the houses, you know. You can, it penetrates everything, and with a different velocity. So you can see through cars, you can see through buildings. It's very good to finding people, you know. It's very good to finding, but of course it's dangerous. But in a wartime scenario, you don't care about that.
Right.
Normally, the ammunition, you know, is and the shielding on a battle tank is depleted uranium, you know. So you don't care about the health of people because, you know, it's always more men to take from, you know. So my biggest concern with the 5G is they're building out the subjugation system for all the world, you know. And 4 months ago or 5 months ago, the military was training here, and I was talking to the guys, you know, because I was stopping. I wanted to see what they were doing because it was a strange exercise. They're coming with these big trucks, you know, and they have these numbers on top. You can see them from the sky, from helicopters and everything. So I was asking the guys, what are you doing? What are you exercising? And they said, we pretend to be Russians. We pretend to be Russian rocket launchers. And it's normal on the military exercise that someone is from the, to be pretending to be from the country that supposed to invade you. Yeah. But not that everyone is. And I was talking with him for maybe half hour, and it was coming this guy with a different color uniform and asking, who is this? Oh, it's a observer, you know, and he is from the UN.
Wow.
We have this station, this black helicopters here. You have seen them, you know. They have a minigun in the door.
Yeah.
And these helicopters was coming and checking that all the Norwegian army here was stationed in the right place. That the Russian rocket launcher system, the Katyusha, I don't know what they're called now. They have a different, but they're shooting out rockets very fast, you know. And these helicopters was checking out that the Norwegian army was playing out the role as a Russian invasion group. I've been in the cavalry, and my job was to protect us from the Russians, you know, because you're very near. We have the Russian border here, you know.
Sounds like
but it was never, yeah, it's something fishy going on.
It sounds like they were setting up for a false flag that they maybe didn't go all the way through with. It's not uncommon for the military to have their war games to pretend to be each other. There's definitely something fishy going on. I tell you what it is. Mark, you want to jump in here?
No. I'm just gonna sit off to the side. I'm still catching up, uploading some stuff after I close my computer out. So
I'd like to throw something there. I was intrigued by what Nils said about the ability of 5G, the millimeter waves to sort of penetrate. It's reminding me of maybe something like holographic technology, or like so he's comparing it to thermal, right, which is reading heat signatures. That's one way to see, but is this like, if it's a mesh, if it's a grid of these things, and they're all pinging each other, making a sort of matrix, each sending, and this is why I think they might be wanting to distribute these things, you know, pretty densely, so that the waves are radiating out and then being caught by other towers, and along the way it's recording everything as maybe a 3D sort of model space in real time. Is that your understanding, Nils? Is it something like that?
Yeah, but it's much more. It's the army's wet dream, you know, because everyone have a smartphone, and normally everyone have a quite new car, you know, and everything is built into this systems. And when we was getting the new Visa cards here, you know, the debit cards, it have a 5G antenna inside. And my passport have a 5G antenna inside, and the new currency have where the magnetic strip is. It's a 5G antenna, so they can count your currency with a 5G system, and they can if you break the speed limit after they turn the 5G on, they will fine you straight from your card.
Right. Okay.
If not, they will stop your car, you know.
So not
you mean like
not only
stop the car?
So not only is it physical biological space that's being caught up in the informatics sweep, it's anything that's giving off a signal, anything that has an antenna, and it's all, the idea is to integrate everything into this so that everything is read.
Everything.
Yeah, everything is read. That's a brave new world kind of scenario. That's
you
very.
Guys remember when the Jade Helm thing was going on a couple of years ago? It turned out that was the rollout for the new AI quantum computer system, and the Jade Helm, the logo or the slogan for the Jade Helm exercises was full spectrum dominance. So what Nils is saying, that they can shut your car off, they can see you, they can see through walls, they can count people inside of houses. They, you know, they'll give you a ticket right there in real time as you're speeding, or, you know, or shut your car down. In some cases, depending on the newer vehicles that have the brake assist and the steering assist, if they want to, they can steer your car off the road like Michael Hastings and drive you into a tree. So it's scary shit, man. We're looking at a pretty fucking scary future.
No, it's not so scary. We need to get used to it. No, I think people love it, you know, because all they want to have, you know, is a faster download time on movies, you know. If you try to talk to someone about this, they're just looking at you like you are, you know, the ice is falling out. They're saying, I don't believe any of this, you know. It's just crazy. But they're pushing this so hard. When the 4G system was built out here, the Chinese did it. And the 5G system, the electricity here have been coming and going all the time because they're working constantly on the sender parks, you know, to accommodate for this new system. And when you're mentioning Jade Helm 15, the black helicopters here, they are under UN command. They don't have any numbers on them, just pitch black helicopters, brand new, and they're doing exercises, the same exercise every time. They're flying over here and they're landing on this flat plane. It's 4 or 5 helicopters together. They're landing there and they're standing there for about 20 minutes, and then they're taking off and moving on. And maybe 1 week ago, the new F-35 fighter planes we are buying from America was coming here and exercising over this valley, and it was 4 of them doing U-turns. I guess they want to test the G-force, you know. How it's working and how it's working on the pilots. But you saw the Slaughterbots video, you know. And when you know that the new F-35 planes is made for releasing these mini-bots, and the mini-bots, they have a very limited battery capacity, you know. It's only, you know, they can fly for some time in a very hot area, but here in the cold, you know, it will suck out the batteries very quickly. But when you have the 5G system will charge them on the fly, so they never go out of battery.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. So you can see all the system is not a coincidence at all. They have been thinking very long and very hard to do this, and they are presenting it like, you know, to have a fiber optic line, you know, on the fly.
It's the biggest Trojan horse potentially ever unleashed. Yeah.
Not potentially, definitely. You know, this guy Eric Ladzinski, he's the co-founder and chief scientist for D-Wave Systems in Canada, and they have been saying themselves that they have been inventing this D-Wave quantum computer. But this system have been in the military all the time since Nikola Tesla was inventing this technology. So it's just you know, it's just like Facebook, you know. Do you want me to believe that some student have been inventing this for NSA? It's just hilarious, you know. It's just crazy. So what they want to do now, they're building out the 5G system everywhere. I hear in America they are lagging behind because America is very big, and they're saying that maybe you will have the 4G plus system before they can have the full 5G system built out. So it's lagging a little bit. The plan's a little bit behind, but it don't matter because they have endless times. You see, they've been working on a schedule for 50 years, you know. Slowly rolling out this, and this it's very important for them that we have the smartphones, the newest smartphones, because this is plotting everything for them, and giving all information. And they're exercising all the time. You see here on another exercise they're doing, they are making roadblocks. They are standing by the side of the highway, and making roadblocks. And these young people, 18 years old, who have, just 1 year in the military, they're sitting and pointing at people with a 50 caliber, And their thinking is good because they have been, it's just like the games they're playing on the computers,
Oh yeah. It's everything is folding in on itself. Yeah, I've often, I mean, for a long time, I've known that the video games are training. They shift your mind. If you start playing these at 10 years old, 11, 12, earlier, of course, you get really into it. You get used to it, and then you think it's a legitimate way to be in the world. You stop thinking that there might be anything wrong with that idea of walking around with guns, shooting people, going on missions. This is the new normal.
The new normal.
Yeah. Here we also have quite a big school to be in this area, But new for this year is drone pilot education.
Yep, of course.
Isn't that funny, For all there's a lot of fisheries here. We are exporting salmon, We have oil industry, or not anymore, because the petrodollar is so low, so it's collapsed, But we have a big radar station here up in the mountains, and this was supposed to be closed down, Suddenly it get new funding, And they're making schools, drone schools, and they're making a new academy here, for drone pilots, So it's just, and Barack Obama, before he was going out of office, he was making an executive order that America can send the drones, big drones, Avenger drones, Predator drones, size of a Cessna type, can send them anywhere in the world for any time, for any reason. So these drones here, I don't know how far away in miles, but not so far away, it was recently stationed 4,000 American soldiers on an airport, military airport. So they have a job to do here, and when you see that the young kids, are going on drone pilot school, and the military is exercising to be the Russians, They was also building a new road here from Russia. It's going through Finland and Sweden and to Norway, a big highway. I've never seen anything like that. I was living in Eastern Europe, in Lithuania, for 10 years. And when I was driving back here 2 years ago, they was building these roads. I was checking, I can save a lot of miles, to go on this road because it was much faster, But they was building the road in one end and laying asphalt and painting it another end. I never seen the Swedish people so efficient. And when I was reading in the newspapers later, this road was built for a company that was already bankrupt, So the road is just standing there without any mission, or so people think. And the tunnels here is being widened out, making them wider. So that's a special too.
Well, I'm really glad to be able to talk to people like you all over the world to get different, perspectives on what's happening all over the world. I really like that, that we're able to do the show and have people like you from Europe, and we talk to all kinds of people all over the place. So I really, really appreciate your input, and I want to have you back on the show sometime, and we can talk more about everything that you brought up and whatever else you want to talk about. I don't want to be rude, but I've got my buddy Mark, and we had a show scheduled, and I'm really glad to have met you and talked to you, and I'll be happy to have you come back on sometime very soon, maybe even next week.
Yeah, that would be very good, Aaron. I'm sorry I crashed your show, you know.
No,
but
you didn't crash anything. You helped fill the gap. We were waiting for Mark. No, it was all good. Thank you. That's good information, and I'm glad to have met you. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a lot more information, but we can take that on a separate show, you know.
Sure. Do you want to come back next Friday? We got no one scheduled.
Yeah, I can do that. That would be perfect.
Okay. Well, we normally go at 7 o'clock Eastern time zone, and you can adjust according to your own time zone. So yeah, we'll just be in touch with you, and I'll be happy to have you come back. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you guys too. You know, so good to be on here. You know.
Very good, man.
Thank you.
Stay in touch. We'll talk to you, and maybe if you can get on Skype or something like that, then we can communicate a lot easier. And otherwise, that we'll just think about having you on for next Friday.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Excellent.
That'd be fine. That'd be perfect. Yeah.
Excellent. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Nice to meet you too. Bye.
Take care, Nils. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Mark.
Hey, buddy.
How have you been?
Just typing in. Good. I'm just typing in. Niles, thanks for having my back. Because you look into the chat there. I just sent it in there. Weird night, eh? Just as we were about to go live, I got smoked.
Yeah. The audio was fine, and then bang, it cut out
weird,
like 5 minutes before we were supposed to go live, and
I mean,
somebody in the chat they were listening to Carrie Cassidy interview Oleg Demigard and said that they were having such terrible audio problems that they had to phone in the interview. So maybe it's not just us. Maybe Bart was talking about retrograde, Mercury retrograde. Maybe there's something to it. And my friend Zach Juxtapose, he's really into the astrology. He keeps trying to get me to get into it. I need to learn more about it. I don't understand how the effects work specifically. Some people know a lot more about that than I do. Bart seems to know a fair amount about it. Obviously, he's walked away, but let's get on with what we're doing here. So, look, we got to get something. We got some business to attend to, you and
I. What's going on?
What the hell is going on, Matty D for Truth, who says he's not in the truth movement. He's not in the truth community. Matty D for Truth is not a truther. What the fuck are you then? What are you doing?
Matty D?
I mean...
you know what? Aaron, first of all, I was talking with Amy earlier, but is she not available this evening?
No, she's having a terrible headache. She's got to sit this one out. She gets these really bad headaches sometimes, and when they're bad, they're bad.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's funny because last week you invited me into the chat. Oh no, 2 weeks ago, right? It was before you had Henry on last week. I was in the chat room listening, and you invited me in at the end, and I said no. I said that was a day I had not a migraine per migraine, but one of those headaches that goes all day. And it's like when you're fasting. I like to fast once in a while, and when you're fasting, you do get the detox from the caffeine and just from not eating, as long as you're hydrating with water and fruit. You do get a mild headache, but mine was more of a migraine headache. It was almost like go buzzing from the G5 towers around us. It was one of those headaches, so I can sympathize. So Amy, get well soon. Just remember, it was all about the distraction. It's all about the distraction with Matty D for Truth.
Man, I don't know what his freaking problem is.
Yeah, what's his problem with you guys? It seems to me, if I'm going to rewind, and you and I have shared some screen captures this afternoon of Matty D and his Twitter. He's got 2 Twitter feeds. I didn't know he had a second one. He just started it in November, and it seems to be the one that is getting more playtime. He started it on November 2017, right? So when I look at I just posted in there in the chat room there. So they can go and look at it. And that's his second channel. His first channel is the one where he's calling me out when he just started. And you and I were kind of switching stuff around there this afternoon late. You know, it was like 5 minutes of investigating, looking at, why is this guy coming after me? I don't know why Maddie's coming after me. Him and I broke a lot of, not broke, but we had a lot of stories that we worked on together 3 years ago. And Maddie's acting like he doesn't know me. And, you know, he's saying, well, this guy doesn't do videos. He doesn't do commentary. He doesn't do this. You know, this guy's a shill. He's using his music. He's getting money and all this. And you know what? I don't even want to have to respond to that stuff. But you've got the screen captures. Back this guy up a number of times, including up to November 14th. And you've got a screen capture of that we can share. I don't know why is he what made Matty D, and he's probably listening now, he's probably out there, but what made him so upset with you guys? And then he came after me when Oli was on, and he called Oli and myself shills in your precast.
It seems
what's
like
the history there with Matty D and you guys? Because he's coming after me because I'm affiliated with Conspiracy or not.
It seems like almost every promo I have uploaded in the last month or two, Maddie has shown up on my channel and left some snide-ass freaking comment. Oh, you're promoting that shill. Oh, you're promoting that shill. Oh, keep promoting the shills. I mean, you know, I'll just do a screen share. Oop, where did it go? Sorry. I'll just give you a quick example. This is some, you know, it's just, look, I followed Matty for a long time, and you can hear the frustration in his voice, right? I think it was, is it this one? No, let me go. You can hear the frustration in his voice when he does his videos, right? Everybody knows that. He's like, look, here it is. I see, you know, he scans through a whole bunch of headlines and is somehow able to, you know, just see the whole shebang, the whole big picture. And apparently for some reason, he thinks nobody else can see it. And because he's the only one talking about it, he's the only one doing any good out here in the cyber world that we call truth or whatever. Here he is. See this? Now, this is the promo for our show that we're doing right here with you. Global Agenda from Jerusalem to Elsagate. He shows up and he says this: keep promoting those daily silent who do jack shit. Shills shaking my head. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what the fuck is this, Maddie? What are you talking about? Keep promoting those daily silent. What? Because we don't make videos every fucking day bashing Israel or exposing Jared Kushner. I mean, he even made a follow-up video or his video where he called you out. He says, look, he doesn't talk. He's just using text. He doesn't call out Jared Kushner. He's using this music, you know, pay. It's a pay. By the way, Mark, he said something about the music you used, right? It was a hyperlink to a, is that a pay? Yeah. Do you pay to use those music clips? Do you pay someone? Do you pay a site to have access to some, you know, tracks?
Yeah, because I was monetized up until October 30th. My it was Scalab Gaming paid for my my subscription, right? Obviously, I was with a monetized program, and they paid for that. So I did not pay for that. If I renew it, I will have to pay for it. But Epidemic Sound, if you go back to all my videos, and I do give Epidemic Sounds credit because I do, as per my agreement with Scalab Gaming, is all they requested was that I put the link in my videos, which if you go back to all of the videos I use music, I always put Epidemic Sound in there. But I don't make 1 cent for them. All I'm doing is giving them credit, and they deserve the credit because I'm using all their people's music. And if you look at a lot of my videos where I use Epidemic Sounds, especially in my videos where I don't speak, where I like to create, I like to make music videos. If Maddie's got a problem with that, do enjoy creating videos, as you can see by my slideshows. So I use quality music from Epidemic Sound. I'll give them credit. I don't get one red penny from Epidemic Sound. I just promote them because that's almost like if they don't want to ding me with copyright, all they ask is that I give them love. And I sent you a link today. My last video on Imagine Dragons, I accidentally, on purpose, slipped in about 2 seconds of music to see if the algorithms caught it, and they did. And I sent you the link, and it said monetization. And now all of a sudden, because I've demonetized my channel, me, well, you've got a copyright infringement on the music here, but why don't you monetize your channel, and then maybe you can get the rewards? And I sent you that link today too from YouTube. So all of a sudden I'm demonetized, and they're asking me to come back and monetize my channel so maybe I can get credit for the copyrights. It's a bunch of crap, to be honest with you. So when I use Epidemic Sounds, my videos don't get flagged, because so many people in the past have said they can't open my videos up in England, in Australia, in Germany, of course, in Switzerland, in Sweden. And it's because when you start using too many music, if I use 2 or 3 in a video, then what it does is it allows them to basically shut down my platform, where only if you're watching my videos on a computer or on TV will you be able to view them. If you try to watch them on a phone or a tab, it won't let you open them up. It's because I've used copyrighted music. If I use like Imagine Dragons, in this case, allowed to go global, and somebody claimed the copyright, which I don't have a problem with that, because I'm not monetized. I'm not making a red friggin' penny from YouTube. I can show you my last PayPal from October 30th, the one I received my last one. It's $1 and change. I can't even put it in my bank because it's not $10, if you know what I'm saying. So Matty D, that he's coming after me, and then he says I'm a Trudeau fan, and he says I'm a Trump and an Israel. Is he serious? I did almost 400 videos, and several of them were on, including the psycho wildfires in out there in where were we? Fort McMurray. Yes, and I've done a coding on his number 23. I'm no Justin Trudeau fan. I'm just trying to tell the story, and that's all I'm here for. Trump is an agent of the Mossad a year and a half before he got elected. I was saying I was doing a Henry Makow, whoever called it out, because he's just an agent of the Mossad, and now we're seeing it, and we can discuss that later on when we talk about Trump. But in the meantime, Matty D, oh my God, you retweeted a tweet that you were called out on 2 days before you came and got me on Oli as a show, and I was giving you the heads up. I'd put it out there with your Spider-Man Cornuto.
So wait.
Yep.
Just clarify that. So who exactly was tweeting? Because it looked like from the screen caps you were sending me that both Matty was retweeting Sidethorn's video and Sidethorn was retweeting Matty's channel, stuff like that. Explain that again.
No, it was
You want me to?
Sidethorn had tweeted. Okay, Sidethorn. I'm opening it up on mine right now.
Yeah, go ahead and do a screen
put
share.
that. You can put the screen capture up there.
Is your screen share not working? Do you want me to show it, or do you want to show it?
No, you put it up there. I'm just going back to grab it right now. I'm just opening up in my
Because I'll have to screen share my whole conversation with you on Skype to do it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's the screen share. I'm just digging it. I got so many. No, I don't. I just looking for Matty Sidethorn, the retweet. Open. Okay. So
let me see.
Goodbye.
Just a second.
Yeah, it's the one just before
this right here, you mean?
remember when I was talking about?
I mean, we should
keep
start
scrolling
at the
down.
beginning. We should start at the beginning. Let's try to get this out of the way quickly.
Yeah, okay, yeah, let's go.
I mean, I really don't want to spend an hour mentioning Matty D.
No, I don't want to spend an hour here with Matty D.
But there's a couple of things I need to get off my chest when it comes to Matty. And while I'm screen sharing, I tell you what, let me just do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Matty D puts out a video where he calls you out, calls you a shill, because you were asking, you on your video, you tweeted to Justin Trudeau asking him his position on Israel. Okay?
Right. There was no stance from Canada yet.
Well, there was, but there wasn't. I mean, it depends on where you look. Okay?
There is now. Yeah, there is now.
Okay, so let me see. Where did it go? I'm checking my notes here. All right, so Matty D puts out a video where he shows this article that I'm showing right here. 151 UN states vote to disavow Israeli ties to Jerusalem. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you know Matty, he likes to go through and read a bunch of headlines and say, see, I told you, look at this, oh, amazing, right? You know how he is. You know what he didn't do in his video? He didn't actually open up this article and read it. So why don't we do that? Because in Matty's video, he's trying to smack you down and he's trying to say, here's your answer, Global, do some research. It looks like he's all, God, what did he say? He said he wasn't, right? Trudeau said he was not going to support the move to Jerusalem.
He's Trudeau's saying he supports the two-state.
Okay. This is an article that Matty D highlighted. 151 states vote to disavow Israeli ties to Jerusalem. Let's just go ahead and read this. Because you know what? It's an interesting thing happens when you actually read the fucking article. The UN General Assembly voted overwhelmingly to disavow Israeli ties to Jerusalem as part of 6 anti-Israeli resolutions it approved on Thursday in New York. The vote was 151 in favor and 6 against, with 9 abstentions. Now, as a sidebar, let me just point out that we have 6 anti-Israeli resolutions, 6 voted against, and 9, which is an upside down 6, abstentions. So in the first paragraph, there's your 666. That's just for fun. Just for fun. Okay, the resolution came as Trump administration was rumored to be actively considering relocating its embassy to Jerusalem. Quote, the president has said he has given serious consideration to the matter and we're looking at it with great care, the U.S. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert said. She added U.S. President Donald Trump had until December 4th to make a decision on the embassy relocation or waive the matter, and we'll get to that in a minute because that relates to the 1995 Israeli Embassy Act of 1995. So every 6 months, every president has to waive this move of the embassy to Jerusalem or the State Department loses funding, okay? So that's what that means.
Right.
So continuing on, in New York, only 6 countries out of 139 member states fully supported Israel ties to Jerusalem. Here it is. Canada, Marshall Islands, Micronesia, Nauru, United States, and Israel itself. So read that again. In New York, I'm going to expand this out. In New York, only 6 countries out of 139 member states fully supported Israel's ties to Jerusalem. First one on the list, Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your answer.
There you go.
So Matty D comes out and says, oh, no, he doesn't support it, according to what he tweeted or what he said in some other article or in some tweet. But
he said that the one I didn't watch today's one. I'm too busy. I don't care really. Shenanigans, as far as I'm concerned, it's angry Matt acting like he doesn't know me.
This article is pretty interesting. If you read the entire article, in New York, only 6 countries out of 139 UN member states fully supported Israel's ties.
193.
So yeah, the 9 countries who abstained, blah, 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 blah. The resolution stated that any action taken by Israel, the occupying power, to impose its laws, jurisdiction, and administration on the holy city of Jerusalem are illegal and therefore null and void. Now, continuing on, this is really interesting because this gets down into the UNESCO and the UNGA, which is the United Nations General Assembly. And so there are these different organizations. And this article says, clearly in this article, it says, that basically, I'll paraphrase, otherwise I could just go on and read this whole thing. It's not that long. Bottom line is this: a country will say that they support it on one board of committee or organization like UNESCO, and then they'll come out on the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. They'll come out on the UNGA and they'll say that they do support it. They don't, they do. They don't, they do. They don't, they do. They're back and forth. It's a giant pile of fucking wishy-washy nonsense. Read this whole article. In fact, I'll just slowly expand this and scroll so anybody who wants to read this. The UNGA's Jerusalem resolution called for respect for historic status quo at the holy places of Jerusalem, including the Haram al-Sharif, which is the temple, by the way. They like to use the Muslim terminology there. But UNESCO votes are taken in smaller committees on boards and do not have the same representative power as the UNGA to measure global opinion of the member states. The voting patterns of many Israelis' allies, particularly among the EU nations, also differ in New York. That's it. They're just fucking bunch of wishy-washy. They support it here, they don't support it there. They support it here, they don't support it there. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, okay, enough of that.
So, hey, so what's so bad about the capital moving to Jerusalem?
Well, I'll tell you, Bart.
I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm saying what's what's good about it, what's bad about it. Why is the move happening?
Here's what's bad about it, in my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. Believe me or agree or disagree, all up to you. If you're familiar with biblical prophecy, and if you're familiar with what I have often referred to as creepy cultist bastards running this world, they are doing like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They are operating their geopolitical strategy according to and in alignment with biblical prophecy. And according to biblical prophecy, in order for Christ to return, in order for the Messiah to return, the Temple of Solomon has to be rebuilt. Now, that's problematic because currently the Dome of the Rock sits on that location. So this is kind of a really freaking big deal.
Potentially, yeah.
Now, there are other articles and other information out there, and I may do another screen share and show some of it, that Israel has already begun construction on the third temple. In fact, I will go ahead and do a screen share, because that article that I shared with Mark earlier this week, pretty interesting stuff. Come on. Go back. All right. Let's see. Third temple construction.
Okay, so one of the ideas is Jerusalem is a religious hub of sorts. Okay.
The Temple Mount is in our hands. And by the way, that was repeated twice by the cleric.
Is in our hands. Okay.
The rabbi or whoever said that. The Temple Mount is in our hands. Hope reborn for the third temple. Jerusalem, Israel. The capture of Jerusalem's Temple Mount 50 years ago sent shockwaves through the Jewish world. It also raised hopes for the building of the third temple. June 7th, 1967, Israeli Brigade Commander Colonel Mada Gur made an announcement that Jews had waited to hear for some 2,000 years. The Temple Mount is in our hands. The Temple Mount is in our hands, he declared. Retaking this ground was important for a number of reasons. For one, it's where King Solomon built the first Jewish temple after the Babylonians destroyed it. Zerubbabel, the head of the tribe of Judah, when the Israelites returned from the Babylonian exile, laid the foundation stone for a second temple that was later expanded by King Herod. That temple fell in 70 AD at the hands of the Romans. When Commander Gur declared the Temple Mount was back in Jewish hands, it rekindled hope for a long-awaited third temple. The Six-Day War was a miracle of biblical proportions and was a cataclysmic opening of a new era for Israel and the world. Rabbi Chaim Richman told CBN News. Rabbi Richman, director of the International Department at the Temple Institute, is dedicated to rebuilding the Jewish temple. He sees the time since the Six-Day War as a prophetic shift. Quote, "It would be hard, I think, not to see what's happening in the last 50 years as tremendous, not just fulfillment of prophecy, but a tremendous jumpstart, a tremendous fast forward," Richmond said. Quote, "It's more than prophetic. It's like a kiss from heaven. It's like a divine kiss. It's like an intimate brush with the reality of God's compassion and love. He keeps his promises."
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, again, I don't want to just, spend all 3 hours reading these articles. And I think it's this particular article, maybe. I'll have to scan through it. But I read somewhere, maybe this article, that this third temple construction, which has already started, is actually infringing on the property or the grounds of what is currently known as the Dome of the Rock, currently held by Muslims.
Okay.
So this is a really, really big deal. Okay. When the third temple gets completely built, this is Solomon's temple being rebuilt. This is what they require, according to their religion, for the Messiah to return. He's not coming back until Temple Solomon is being rebuilt.
Right.
And they're doing it. They're doing it now.
Okay,
And
but they're not doing it on the location of the Dome of the Rock. They're doing somewhere beside it.
Now, I just want to be clear, and I hope I can find it while we're talking, because I'm trying to think and read and listen.
That's a lot of stuff to do at once.
But I read somewhere that this third temple construction is actually on, or partly infringing on the property that is currently known as the Dome of the Rock. It's got to be built right there. The location is important. And I told my friend like 6 years ago, I said, keep your eye on that mosque. Something's got to happen. They have to build Solomon's temple. And the problem is that the Dome of the Rock is sitting on the spot where it's supposed to be built, which means that something's probably going to happen. Maybe a false flag, who the hell knows, but chances are they're going to have to destroy the Dome of the Rock temple before they build the third temple.
Okay, interesting.
But it looks like they may have found. Go ahead, Mark.
I can just add here. I'm on the wiki page. The Dome of the Rock is situated in the center of the Temple Mount, the site of the Temple of Solomon, Second Temple, which had been greatly expanded under Herod the Great in the 1st century BCE. Herod's temple was destroyed in 70. There's your 70 here, CE by the Romans, and after the Bar Kokhba revolt in 135 CE, a Roman temple to Jupiter was built on the site. Jerusalem was ruled by the Christian Byzantine Empire throughout the 4th to 6th centuries. During this time, Christian pilgrimage to Jerusalem began to develop. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre was built under Constantine in the 320s, but the Temple Mount was left undeveloped after a failed project of restoration under the temple So yeah, it looks like the third temple is supposed to go where the Dome of the Rock is. And that's why this naming Jerusalem as the capital is turned into a quagmire, and they made Trump have a little hiccup when he tried to say states. He said Shiite, United Shiite. So yeah, the Dome of the Rock is definitely in the way, but it's got lots of gold on its in Islamic hands.
Yeah. And what does that? I mean, and what does that mean? I'm just thinking out loud.
It means that you've got two factions of interest wanting to be on that, on that same piece of land. That's where King Solomon's third. I know you do. I know you do. But the third temple is supposed to be, the new resurrected King Solomon's as the Knights Templar. To the Jesuits and the Freemasons for sure.
Yeah. I'm actually looking at a video. It's a virtual 3D model of the third temple plans, and taking room by room and showing all the various features of it. It's kind of interesting. I can share that up.
Let me read this paragraph here. It says, quote, "So a few years ago, this was considered fringe, zealots, lunatics in particular. Today, it's mainstream. 10 years ago, there was not a single member of Knesset who ascended to Temple Mount," Glick told NBC or CBN. Quote, "Today, we have 20 Knesset members who are interested in ascending Temple Mount, praying on Temple Mount, and are part of the redemption of the Temple Mount and bringing the Temple Mount back into the center of the next step in the redemption process." Keep that in mind, the redemption process, because in a little while I'm going to have to bring up this concept known as redemption by sin, which is really fucking creepy. So you got something you want to share, Bart?
I put the link in.
Go ahead, your turn. I'm done.
No, it's for anybody. I put it in the chat, and I put it in. It's just a virtual model of what this temple is going to look like.
Oh, okay.
Just if anybody's interested in taking a look at it. I think, I could spin out on, an idea around like what even is a temple? Who cares? What's the value of a temple? What's its meaning? Who cares if it's built or not? I can speak more intelligently on it than that, but one of these things I've always found interesting around the word temple. It's something about time, right? Temporal, temporary, right? So what does a temple have to do with the connections to setting of time, setting of calendars, these kinds of and calendars, of course, tie into prophecy, this kind of stuff, seats of power, yeah.
Well, Nils is still hanging out in the chat. He said they've been begging for money for this for the new temple. It's very hard to stop the money flow.
Right.
And then he said the Jews wait for their Antichrist to come to sit on that throne and declare himself God.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about, this whole concept of Trump stating publicly that he's planning to move the embassy to Jerusalem,
mm-hmm.
and this Temple Mount, the new temple being under construction, in the works. This is all about biblical prophecy. This is all about end times prophecy being forwarded, being goose-stepped. Do you know what I mean? It's like they're trying to bring out this biblical prophecy into manifestation one way or the other. Now, whether it's a real, return of the Messiah, which I'm not one who subscribes to that idea, I would suggest that it's going to be another fakery, that it's going to be like the blue beam, you know, the alien invasion or some shit like that. So I don't know what the actual plan is. Of course, I don't know. But it's really disturbing when you see these patterns and you understand the history and what their intentions are. And then you know that the majority of the rest of the population is so wrapped up in their religion, they're going to bow, they're going to drop to their knees, they're going to believe every word of it. Right? We've seen this time and time again with all these hoaxes, false flags. How many people just bend right over and believe every word of it?
Yeah.
Add to that the religious concept of all the people, and this is Muslims, Christians, Jews. This is part of everybody's prophecy. This has to happen.
I do like the the term that I don't know where I saw it, but it's the idea of merging Islam and Christianity into Chrislam. I'm not saying I like the concept. I'm saying it's an interesting catch-all phrase around that idea. Can these two religions be melded into one?
You know, at this point, I want to give a shout out to Las Valdez.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And I'm going to do a quick, yet another screen share, because I want to show you something that he brought to my attention. He made a video today on these subjects, talking about the Baha'i faith.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting one. That's almost like a proto merger of. I know it's an interesting one. Okay, go ahead.
It's an amalgamation of all of the religions. Mm-hmm. The Baha'i faith is the only faith that is recognized by the United Nations. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I knew something about that. Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
It is, yeah. So there's lots of really, really interesting stuff on this Baha'i faith, the movement, its history, the players. I also understand that there's a fairly large Baha'i faith organization operating in South Carolina, of all places.
Wow.
Oh, damn! I wonder if it's on the if it's on the line, dude.
but look what I see here over on the sidebar. This says here, Baha'i faith is a religion teaching the essential worth of all religions and the unity and equality of all people, established by the Baha'u'llah in 1863. I hope I pronounced that right. Baha'u'llah. It initially grew in Iran and other parts of the Middle Eastern region. Look at what I see here.
Zoroastrianism, Jainism.
The Jainism. What is that? Mm-hmm. That's a mandala.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same mandala that I picked out. You guys remember that woman that I highlighted? I made a video about her on the Vegas shooting. You guys remember that?
No.
Oh.
Mark, do you remember that?
Yes, I'm going back and looking at it. Yes.
Let me see if I can find it. It's in here somewhere.
You got your files open.
I wish this thing would organize when I drop stuff in here. I wish it would organize it in at least some sort of order, but it's all random every time I drop stuff in here. Yeah, I mean, if I find it, I'll show it to you. I had a video on my other channel before it was terminated. There was an interview done by a woman gives an interview at the Vegas shooting. It was one of the very first interviews to ever get broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I spotted what she was wearing was she had that hand, that mandala on her shirt. And the shooting was at the Mandalay Bay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I mean?
Man, things are starting to get weird.
I'll find it. If I find it, I'll come back and redo the screen share. I don't want to waste y'all's time on this. If I find it, I'll show it to you.
Like my joke. It's as if things were starting to get weird.
Let me see. I'm still looking for it. Mark, what do you have to add for us?
Well, I'm just going along. I'm just setting up. I'm looking at your. I'm looking at the temple, and where was I? I got too many windows open. I'm going to go back to the Dome of the Rock, and when you look at it in simple gematria, is a 66. So that's my addition. The Dome of the Rock is a 66 in gematria. But the dates definitely. And you were talking about, Aaron. What is it? The Sabate Zevi? Sabatia Zevi? That was very interesting.
Sabotage Zevi. Yeah, I've got a tab open. I'm going to share some.
All right, I'm going to be right back.
I know we're not going there yet, but that was a very interesting share, and that is something that should be checking out as well. It's basically a rabbi that turned to he pulled a Muhammad Ali, turned to Islam when he was a rabbi back. What was it? 1626.
He declared himself. He declared himself the Messiah. Yes, and then he had gained a following of nearly 1 million, and we're talking 1830 or 1840, 1850. He declared himself the Messiah, the Jewish Messiah, and he had a following of something like 1 million people at that time. And yeah, that's that whole concept of redemption through sin, because again, in order for the Messiah to return, the concept is that you have to all be saints or you all be sinners, right? According to certain scripture,
that's right.
Messiah will return when everybody is good or when everybody is bad. And then this guy Frank, God, darn it, the name just left my brain. 100 years later, almost to the day, to the year, 100 years later, by the way, the Sabbatai Zevi was 1666. Interesting number there.
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly 100 years later, this guy Frank, and by the way, it's known as the Sabbatean Frank philosophy. This other guy Frank came along and said that he's the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi. And I think he was the one who actually linked up with Amstel Rothschild and some Warburgs, and was also responsible for the initiation of the Bavarian Illuminati through Adam Weishaupt, that this guy Frank was connected to directly, personally.
Right.
Because what do we know of the Bavarian Illuminati? That was founded in 1776, right?
1776, yes, the U.S.
That's exactly the 100-year mark where this guy Frank declared himself the reincarnation as Sabbatai Zevi.
You see how it's all interconnected now.
Yeah, it's the same year. Yeah,
it's crazy, isn't it?
I tell you what I'm going to do. I am going to screen share what did I do? I put my tabs away. I want to screen share a couple of minutes of this video, and then we'll come back and talk about this in a second. And I should be highlighted. Redemption through sin. Here it is. 1666, Redemption Through Sin. This is a book by Robert Seifer. Okay, let me back this up to the very, very beginning. This is Robert Seifer. I want to make sure to give credit. Robert Seifer, he's an author and a researcher, and this video can be found on his channel. This is a short version of a longer video that he has. And let's listen to this for a few minutes and to see if this doesn't blow your mind.
Sabbatai Zevi declared himself to be the Jewish Messiah in the year 1666. This false Messiah led the largest Messiah movement in Jewish history and attracted more than half the population of European Jews. How did he do it? By promising to return the Jews to their ancestral homeland in Palestine.
Zionism.
Sabbatai Zevi made everything that was holy unholy. He rejected the rules of the Jewish holy books and every standard of Jewish decency. There would be no more guilt or sin or right or wrong, no more sexual taboos, no more 10 commandments, no more fasting. Instead, there would be feasting. Sabbatai Zevi's immoral leadership finally fell from grace when the Sultan of Turkey threatened him with torture unless he converted to Islam. Sabbatai converted to Islam, but he brought his infectious evil theology with him. 1 century later, Jacob Frank proclaimed himself to be the reincarnation of Sabbatai Zevi and the living Messiah for all Jews. Not even Sabbatai Zevi was as evil as Jacob Frank and his disciples. Jacob Frank rejected traditional Judaism. He reversed the truth and told his followers, since we can't all be saints, let's all be sinners. The best way to imitate God, said Frank, is to cross every boundary, transgress every taboo, and mix, as God did, the sacred with the profane. Orgies, incest, rape, and sexual intercourse with children, including sodomy on young boys, were no longer sinful. In 1773, Jacob Frank traveled to Frankfurt, Germany, the birthplace of the Illuminati. That's where he formed an unholy alliance with Adam Weishaupt and Mayor Amschel Rothschild's banking dynasty. The ambition of the Rothschild dynasty was to win control of the world's gold, central banks, and wealth. The Rothschilds sent John Jacob Astor, Jacob Schiff, and Paul Warburg to America, where they influenced the privatization of the Federal Reserve banking system and the dismantling of the American Constitution. The goal of Weishaupt and the Jesuits was to take control of the Vatican and its hierarchy of Catholic clergy. Weishaupt formed the Order of the Illuminati and infiltrated the Freemasonic lodges with his doctrine until every Masonic lodge in every nation accepted it. The Frankist goal was the destruction and replacement of Jewish ethics with a satanic religion based on the exact opposite of Jewish teachings. When this unholy alliance of conscienceless men was seeded, a cancerous war against humanity erupted. With Rothschild financing, Jacob Frank became fabulously wealthy and was put in charge of spreading a Luciferian theology that would be the hidden hand behind future wars and revolutions. Jacob Frank's followers were called Sabbatean Frankists. They practiced witchcraft and occult rituals, including animal and human sacrifices. Lucifer, they declared, was the true God. The Sabbatean Frankists expanded their movement by masquerading as converts to other religions. They converted to Catholicism and to Islam, where they embedded themselves and spread their Luciferian infection as closeted crypto-Jews. The Frankists traded their wives and daughters with members and with powerful non-members who they needed to seduce into their cult. Jewish professor Gershon Scholem called Jacob Frank one of the most frightening men in Jewish history. By 1776, Orthodox Jewish rabbis and leaders rejected Jacob Frank and the pagan invasion of evil that took hold in 18th century Europe. They declared Jacob Frank and his Luciferian followers to be heretics. Jewish author and historian Dr. Henry Makow has thoroughly researched the Sabbatean Frankist movement.
Sabbatean Frankists, without a doubt, Satanists. They believe that they have to defy any kind of natural morality, defy any kind of natural law, defy God, and they actually indulge in every kind of depravity as a form of worship. They worship Satan, and they promoted promiscuity, and that's where our promiscuity today comes from. It's 200 or 300 years old. There's nothing new or avant-garde about it. They promoted incest, they promoted pedophilia, and every kind of sexual depravity.
America's Zionist-owned media falsely reported that Iran's president Ahmadinejad threatened to wipe Israel off the map. This was a mistranslation. What the president of Iran really said is that Israel is occupying Palestine and has no legitimacy on the world map. Traditional Torah Jews and rabbis agree with him. There is speculation that the revolutionary document called the...
All right, there's about halfway through this video. This is really interesting stuff. Look, these guys were trading their wives and their daughters. They were indulging in every sort of depravity. And the concept was that if we can't all be saints, we may as well all be sinners. The concept is that they were trying to hasten the return of the Messiah, because according to Scripture, he's not coming back until certain conditions are met. The Temple of Solomon being built is one of those conditions. One of the other conditions is that everybody is either good or everybody is either bad. So that sort of explains a lot in terms of what is happening to our world today, I think. Mark, to you.
Just give me a second. I'm just looking something up here on sinners and the Church of Satan. I want to read it. A few years back, I looked at the Church of Satan and the 9 satanic sins. And one of them is you have to be a sinner. You have to be a sinner. Images of the Church of Satan sinners, I'm saying. Yeah, so I think they would rather have us be incestuous. Here it is here. Stupidity, the top of the list for satanic sins, the cardinal sin of Satanism. It's too bad that stupidity isn't painful. Ignorance isn't one thing. Ignorance is one thing, but our society thrives increasingly on stupidity. It depends on people going along with whatever they are told. The media promotes a cultivated stupidity as a posture that is only acceptable but laudable. Satanists must learn to tricks and cannot afford to be stupid. So look up the 9 satanic sins, and I'll drop the link in the box right now. And it's very disturbing, but it's true. This is the way they operate. They operate on sins, and that's why they want us all to be sinners before the Antichrist. The Antichrist is already here, though, isn't he? Isn't it Maddie D? Oh. But you're right. You're right. Though I was reading the other day. I was reading an article, and they were talking about sin, and we're gonna get into it later on. But this whole pedophilia, I think that's probably the biggest the biggest going concern right now going on the planet, I think, is this child molestation, trafficking, and brutality and sex killings of these young kids. The biggest sin that's on the planet right now, and it's certainly being promoted within.
So just to clarify, C-Space said that the Jerusalem thing has been said since 1995, nothing new. That's correct. That's absolutely correct. I mentioned that a little bit earlier in the show, that it's the Jerusalem Embassy Act of 1995, which was instated by Bill Clinton during the time of his administration, and every 6 months the president can waive. He has to sign a waiver. He's got to hand it over to Congress, stating, national security reasons or whatever. Bottom line is that every 6 months this thing comes back up on the surface, as far as this act, this law that was passed, that they're supposed to move the embassy to Jerusalem. And every 6 months, every president, like, for instance, Obama had 8 years, which means he signed that thing 16 times. You know what I mean? So every president, every 6 months, submits a waiver to Congress postponing the relocation of the temple of the embassy in Jerusalem. And what's interesting is that Donald Trump, while stating publicly that he planned to move the embassy, actually, he signed the waiver. Okay? Just so everybody knows, Trump actually signed that waiver again. So first, Trump had to sign it once on his inauguration, either on the day or very close to the very first days of his presidency. And then he just signed it again. So Trump comes out and publicly says, we're going to move the embassy. But the reality is that that's not something that's going to happen in potentially in the immediate future. It could happen very soon. It could happen in 6 months or a year or two. But the bottom line is that he did two things. He publicly announced, which gives recognition to Israel's sovereignty and authority over the city of Jerusalem. But at the same time, he signed that waiver, once again postponing for another 6 months the actual, move of the embassy. So if you're a fan of the channel In Truth by Grace, she put out a video recently saying that Trump punked the world. So we've all been punked.
Interesting.
So this
C-Space has a good comment here. They are setting people up to become outraged to justify all-out genocide. I can sort of get behind that analysis, that concept.
Sure.
I see that the I had expressed it like this, that everybody's heard of divide and conquer, but what I'm seeing lately is like mince and puree and conquer, right? where it seems like every opportunity is taken to divide and fracture everybody, and it's almost like to harken back to this sort of Matty D situation, right? It's like he took an opportunity to look at something that he thought was a monetizing thing, and that was against some sort of moral or ethical code, and therefore that leads to a rejection of content and a critique of you as a person. And I'm seeing the whole sort of world of these various communities become very fractured, and they're all sort of nipping at each other. Everybody seems to be nipping and biting and not trusting and
All part of
very petty little arguments. And it's I see this as well, as a trend. I'll leave it at that. But it makes sense to me, this idea of, okay, so if nobody likes or loves or trusts anybody else, and everybody's a sinner and a criminal, therefore everybody will essentially call for the eradication of each other. You know, talk about Operation Mindfuck.
It reminds me of Operation Gladio. Yeah. It's the CIA and the NATO Operation Gladio. The CIA has a similar motto. It's a strategy of tension.
Yeah.
You keep everybody on edge all the time, and then we could pull the trigger anytime we want to.
Mm-hmm. But it's almost like the seeds are being sown that was more of a top-down through middle-out approach. This one seems to be like middle out, full spectrum, right? Get some bug, some button into everybody, so everybody has a nemesis, a someone that they hate. That's
good. That's good. And this is exactly in line with that, you know, because it seems like everybody's got a dog in this fight. Christians, Muslims, Jews, they all lay claim to this plot of land known as the Temple Mount, currently Dome of the Rock. So yeah, I mean, you got 80-90% of the religious world has a dog in this fight.
Yeah, it could be viewed that way, right? If you look at it through that lens, if you think that is what's at stake. I would say, you know, we do like to occasionally talk about solutions and ways out of this kind of a thing, right? But first we got to identify what is the problem, what is the strategy, what's the psychological operation that's being run on us, and I should have said psychological operations, right? This kind of is harkening back to this idea I was having around Vegas, right? That seemed like Vegas seemed to kick off for me. What I nicknamed Operation Double Down, right? It seems like the atmosphere, the climate is ripe to go full spectrum, go really hard with all of this, at least, you know, if for a while, or until it, I don't know, shatters, it cracks, and.
Let me just read this comment from Nils. He says, while Putin battle hardens his troops in Syria, the U.S. military teaches walking in high heels. That's so fucking true. God dang it. So look, this Sabbatean Frankist, this Jacob Frank and Sabbatai Zevi, this concept, this Sabbatean Frankist movement is... The concept is for man to be like God, and in order for man to be like God, they've got to. There's no limit to any action that you, as a man, would perform, right? Because there's no afterlife to worry about. There's no judgment to worry about, right? For man to be like God, you have to cross every single boundary. Every moral or ethical boundary has to be crossed, which seems to fit right in line with everything that we see in the movies and the media on YouTube. And we're going to get into the Elsagate, the pedophilia, the Pizzagate, the pedogate, the whole freaking shebang. I mean, everything that's good is bad. We've all talked about this so many fucking times. You don't even have to be a conspiracy-minded person to recognize that everything good in this world has been subverted and converted. Everything good is bad. Everything bad is good. I think it was Spudgy Pang that just put out a video today highlighting that, what country was it? I can't remember. Poland. I think it's Poland has now the very first transgender prime minister. Did you see that in there, Bart? You might have a personal interest in this story.
I have not heard that, but I don't keep up with a lot of Polish politics. But okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Gonna have to look that one up, Aaron.
I'm looking it up right now. I'll show it to you.
Okay. Wait, did I ever get to any solutions in my previous comment? Gosh, if everything's being fractured and all that's bad is now good, what can we do? I think it's to continue to wade through the fog of war, and look for the things that are archetypally good and true and noble, and return to things like dignity and elevate those, right? Take human dignity and put that over, raise that above some sort of concocted social justice idea, or take truth over truthiness, or the public opinion. Of course, these things are easier said than done, but I think that's the work that we're being called to do and promote. So, okay, gay Freemasonry. Yeah, my goodness. In Denmark, we have Coca-Cola in the hospital. It's good for a headache and more. Yeah, everything's, oh my goodness. We're through the looking glass, people. We really are.
So, Bart, I know that you speak fluent Polish. I assume you read Polish as well?
I read some Polish. I read it slowly, and there's I read it sort of on a grade school level. So
well, get a look at the world's. I don't know if it's the world's first, but apparently this is Poland. This is Poland's first transgender MP right there. Mm. Get a gander. Get your eyes full.
Yeah.
What a lovely creature that is.
Yeah.
Can you read that caption underneath of that thing's name? Posłanka
reprezentującą Zielonych. So she's Green Party. So I don't know if she's. I don't think she's the president. I don't think she's the prime minister. But
don't
I think
call it a she. It's not a she.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I've become confused by all of this.
Your ways are strange and confusing to me. I'm not loving that.
Yeah. It is. Oh gosh, it's such an interesting phenomenon. Such an interesting agenda. I want to see the positive side of it somewhere.
Polish transsexual MP.
Polish transsexual MP. Oh. Is her middle name Elsa?
Her name's not. I mean, his name's not Elsa, is it? That would be hilarious.
Slow down, Marky Mark. Slow down.
I think maybe
33 watching now.
Yeah.
33 watching now. Alert.
I think it was maybe back here. Anna. Let me see if I'll just play this. See if I can get the whole name. Anna Godska. I can't see the whole name. Anna Godska something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, there it is.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't I might have recently heard.
Oh my God. Transgender.
I want to state for the record that
oh no.
People no, people are people, and I think that there's individual choices that any number of people have the right to make. Right? They make choices, and then they have to take responsibility for them. But let me frame it like this. It seemed like, a couple of years back when it was the gay right to marriage movement was happening. I didn't get on board with that idea in the sense that, look, if you want to get married to anybody or anything, cool, whatever. As long as you don't impose it on other folks, in a sense. But one of the arguments I often made was like, man, why do you all want marriage? Like, why do you were like, gays were so much cooler when they were underground, right? Like, being gay was way cooler. Once something goes mainstream, it becomes susceptible to all this corruption and all of this, kind of like think about any music group that you found, like I call it the Nirvana effect. When I first discovered Nirvana, it was like, these guys were my secret band, right? And I really liked listening to them. And then something changed when I was walking down the hall and there were 3 cheerleaders talking about, have you been listening to Nirvana? Oh my God, I love them, And I was like, oh, geez, okay, that bubble just burst, So I'm just saying, there seems to be this, when there's an agenda to go and force something mainstream, I think the larger agenda is something beyond like discomforting people. It's in order to leverage and weaponize.
Look at
that.
All right, I'll get a look at this creature, Dr. Richard L. Levine, Rachel Leland Levine. Looks kind of like Robert Schoch. You know who Robert Schoch is, right? The Egyptologist.
Yeah, a little bit.
The geologist, Dr. Robert Schoch. Look at this creature. Good God. Look at this thing. European.
It looks like Horseshack, Aaron. It looks like an older Horseshack.
An old Rorschach?
An older Horseshack, yeah, from
Watchmen? From Watchmen?
No. What was the teacher there? What was the teacher with John Travolta?
Oh.
Way back. Cotter. Welcome back, Cotter.
Yeah,
Horseshack. It looks like an older Horseshack. Go back to that.
Oh, Horseshack.
Yeah, Horseshack.
Yeah.
John Horseshack, man. Oh, Mr. Cotter. Doesn't that look like Horseshack? Come on, buddy. Take off, cut the hair off.
I tried to put on the Horseshack. Welcome back, Cotter, the other day, and I got shut down.
Welcome back, Cotter. Yeah, welcome back, Cotter. That was Mrs. Horseshack. Mrs. Horseshack. Yeah. Oh, my name is Vinny Barbarino, and I'm a transvestite. That's me, John Travolta. I got a penis. No, I'm a female. I'm a transgender. I'm a Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, this one looks like
Bart. You know what? Yeah, Bart.
Yeah.
You're right though. What you said earlier, I was listening to you because I did a video, and it still is, one of my most commented, positive and some negative, of course, but it was, are we getting tired of the transgender agenda? And you know what? When it's 1% of the population out there, less than like 1% is transgender, they are getting so much playtime. There's no doubt about it. And you know what? I had transvestites, transgender, and comment because I'm being very respectful. But I just didn't like the way that our girl, Winona Judd's sister there, Ashley Judd, the way she spewed venom at the pink pussy hat riot day down there during Trump's inauguration. They had the pussy hat day, and Ashley Judge made a nasty. I'm a nasty girl, and talking about periods and abortions and all kinds of nasty stuff. But after that, and I worked in a prison for 15 years, and I started as a puppy, 21 years old, while I was still in college at the Toronto Dawn Jail. Whole unit, 40 to 50 inmates of they were transsexuals, ladies of the night. They were lady walkers. And you know what? As a 21-year-old male working in that unit, you got flirted at, no doubt about it. You walked the corridor, and all these and you know what? I actually had fun working that unit, the Toronto West Detention Center, and I had more female / transgender, transvestite, whatever you want to say. Like you said, that's you, that's who you are. You promote it all you want, but when it comes and it's being put in my face all the time, that's when I have to say, hey, enough's enough here. You know what? I'm not pushing a white Anglo male Saxon Protestant dude on you. I mean, then they'll say, oh, you guys pushed it for years.
Yeah.
I respect mankind. I respect women. I respect anybody. I respect E.T. if he was sitting in the room with me. I respect my angels. They're sitting around me right now. But the thing is when they're pushing it on us, and now all you're seeing is all these males. These men are going down. We up here in Canada, we had Greg Zahn, a broadcaster with the Toronto Blue Jays. He was, man's man, the manalist, Greg Zahn. He gets taken out for sexual harassment right after Lauer. Now, Buddy had to resign yesterday on the Senate floor there. And my boy Max Spears said it, and I'm going to do a video on it. I'm just getting around to it. Matty D, I'm trying to get more videos out. Matty, I'm working on it.
Hey, Matty, we're all trying to do what you do. We're all trying to live up to your expectations.
Yeah. Like all news network, every day, get up and read the lines and get the hell out of the house and ride in my Mustang Macho Sturgeon beast of what's he got. Anyway, the respect that I have for that community, no doubt about it. I just don't like it being rammed down my throat. This is what Max Spears was saying 2 years ago. Man's heart.
Yeah.
Your heart. That's why we see all these heart symbols now. iHeartRadio. They're tearing down man's heart. They're defeminizing man. They're taking the masculinity out of man. They basically want to turn us all into bots, all into then I have no balls, you have no balls. We have breasts, you have breasts. Basically, it's the defeminization of the male, because the male in the end is the one that has to fight. And you know what?
That's right.
Pretty damn soon. Right. And that's all I gotta say. Okay? This is it. And I'll be putting a video at it. It's all about man's heart. And Max Spears was right. They are men in tranny dresses. Did you see some of those videos about Matt Lauer running around like Baywatch? I didn't notice this stuff. I see it now. This is disgusting that we missed all this, and that's why I don't watch mainstream TV, and I haven't for over a year. And God bless America, God bless Canada, and God bless the United States of transgender agenda.
Try to keep your dentures in your mouth when you say that.
I did. I pushing them.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You see that? That Trump speech?
I said it. He said instead of United States, he said United Shiite.
Have you seen any of those videos where it's up close and they play his speech and we'll look at his mouth up close? You can see his dentures are falling out.
Yeah, I was watching it on Matty D's channel.
You can see him keep sucking his dentures back. So
don't be denture-phobic, man.
So I'm pretty sure Matty doesn't have time to listen to the whole broadcast, but just in case you are listening, Matty, cut the shit out, okay? We're not you. I'm not you. Mark isn't you. We're not all fucking you. Do your thing. We'll do our thing. And there it is. I really don't know what else to fucking say. Stop leaving shitty comments on my channel that I'm promoting shills just because I want to fucking talk to somebody.
Well, that's I mean, I'll talk to anybody anytime about anything. right? And so,
Right. How many times have I said I'll take truth where I can find it?
yep.
I don't fucking care where it comes from.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I saw your comment, Bart, on the video where he the video before the two that he said that I'm a shill and just out to make money on epidemicsound.com, and that I'm a Trump lover and a Trudeau lover, which is totally the opposite. I saw your comment and I put, I said, here, right, Bart? Because your comment was, was like very, this is what we're getting to. We haven't even gotten into Elsagate yet, but that's what he was talking to.
We're gonna have to.
And all I have to say, you know what? If we go into that segue soon enough, Aaron and I, we talk a lot offline. We Skype message. We share emails. A lot of things that people would probably love to have sitting on the side and listening to our discussions, Aaron and myself. And we've been discussing Elsagate probably for 3 weeks to a month, haven't we, Aaron? You set me up with it a couple of weeks back, way back.
Yeah.
You said, check this out. And I went, wow. And all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks, yes, Elsagate blew up, but it's been around since July and August. And that's when he went and left a comment. Matt left a comment on Amy's channel. And I said to him, I didn't know at the time that there was a war brewing. I said to him, I go, yeah, Matt, there's Elsagate has been around since July, August is when it started taking off. You had Melissa and a few of the channels, investigating YouTube, and the one that you shared with me, Aaron. We saw this starting to take headway. 3 characters in Elsagate that are pretty well the focus of what Elsagate's all about. And what are those 3 characters? Do you have any idea, Bart? I'm sure you've looked at it. What is Elsagate when you look at the 3 cartoon characters that mostly are portrayed in Elsa videos?
I've seen Elsa and Spider-Man, and
Elsa herself from Frozen, Spider-Man.
Elsa, Spider-Man, and who are the other? There's a pair usually that pop up.
Well, it's usually Spider-Man, but you'll see a lot of other superheroes.
And you'll see Minnie and Mickey, and then you'll see superheroes. Okay. So he's calling me out. He's calling me out for promoting Epidemic Sounds, which, like I said, I don't make 1 red penny off of the Epidemic Sounds. And then Aaron, you said today, I feel like he's a hypocrite because he's got Spider-Man promoted on his friggin' avatar.
Let me just clarify. I don't want to. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, Matty D is a fucking hypocrite of monumental proportions. I've been a fan of Matty D for years and years, and before his other channels were terminated, he used to say all the time, and anybody who knows Matty knows this to be true. He used to say all the time, I don't watch other people's videos. Remember when Professor Doom, I haven't seen Doom in a long time. I haven't been subscribed. I don't even know if he's still active. But Matty D used to say things, I don't watch Professor Doom. I don't watch other people's YouTube videos. And yet you'll see his comments on everybody's fucking videos. So what are you doing, Matty? You watching our videos or not? And
well, maybe it's a case of like.
Lately he's running around saying, I'm not a truther. I'm not a part of this truth community. Oh, really? Matty D for truth? You're not a truther? You're Matty D for truth. You're not a truther. You're not a part of this truth community, Matty D for truth. Really? Matty D for truth? Really? Fucking hypocrite.
No.
And then he goes to your channel, Mark, and he says, look at all these videos. Look, he doesn't do shit. The Imagine Dragons. I called out Imagine Dragons. I talked about Imagine Dragons the other day. Oh, really? Really, Mark's not doing shit. He's calling out Imagine Dragons, and you called out Imagine Dragons, but Mark's not doing shit. You are. Matty D is the only one who does anything fucking good on the internet. Really? That's fucking hypocrite, dude. That's hypocrite of monumental proportions. I mean, I had, yesterday I was pissed. I had a whole fucking huge rant prepared, and it's a good thing I had time to calm down. Because, I mean, I was prepared to spend 30 minutes just bashing the shit out of Matty. Because he's been a dickhole lately, and everybody knows it. Enough about finish, Mark, finish.
I'm not. I mean, Matty D and I go back too. I mean, like I said earlier, we've gone back to God. I don't know, but then all of a sudden he's treating like he doesn't know me, and where's that picture? I'll screen share this one. I can screen share this one, I think. I'll try to screen share this one. And then we can get off of Matty D. Okay. Let's pull it up. Which one was it? Did you see it there? Did you see it?
No, I'm not seeing it.
Hang on, let me highlight you.
Yeah, highlight me. Yeah.
I'm not seeing you share yet.
No?
No.
It's the retweet from the side thorn. Can you see this one?
Hang on, let me undo and then redo your highlight. Still not seeing your share yet.
No?
There we go. Something. Maybe.
Is that it there?
There we go.
You can see it?
Yep, got you.
My latest video on internet censorship.
Got you, bro. Go ahead.
And then you can see the second tweet from November 14th.
Yeah.
It says, check it out, from Matty D for Truth, right? And Sidethorn had tweeted. That was the one you were asking me about.
Yeah.
Sidethorn.
Yeah,
he retweeted one of Matty's tweets.
First?
Right?
Start at the beginning.
Yeah. So in this video here, I had said 3 strikes you're out policy plus my channel update, and VidMe canceled me. I had said that I demonetized my channel, and I also took I'm down to 45 videos, and I was up over 300. So I've taken a good 250 videos that were not
Wow.
that were flagged by YouTube. You know how they flag you as inappropriate content, blah blah blah, and I deleted them. So Matty D's saying this guy doesn't make videos. Well, you know what? And this is my final thought on Matty D until we talk about Spider-Man, his logo, and Elsagate. Spider-Man, Elsagate. I said in that video I demonetized as of October 30th. The most I ever made on YouTube was $49 a month, and that was like well over a year ago. I was down to making peanuts, and I said, I'm out of here. And they asked me, why are you demonetized? And I said, it's a joke. I can't even cash my PayPal, whatever. I mean, I was making no money. So it's when you're getting videos bounced all over the place. So I talked to my boy Killick38, great guy, Killick38. Should have him on the show someday. Plug. He said, save your channel. So I wanted to save my 13,000 plus subs. So I did. And I'm still down to a community guideline strike, which expires in January. I just recently had one lifted 2 days ago. So I went from 2 strikes down to 1. And in this video, I said why I was demonetizing, why I was saving it. The funniest thing is I put that out on the 15th, and on the 14th, I was checked this out from Matty D for Truth, who I follow on Twitter, and he follows me. Well, now he's acting like I'm a nobody. Right?
Okay. What?
He's telling me that I'm a nobody on I do nothing, and yet I've been around since 2013, making videos 2014 to him, and he's making it sound like he doesn't know me at all. So that's what's discouraging. And I'm like you, Aaron. I stopped following Matty D after he got to like his 4th channel, and I said, "Holy cow!" Whipping up channels left, right, and center. I mean, he's up to Matty D for Truth 7 now, and he's already got another strike from Sidethorn. And I guess him and Sidethorn had a falling out because they were buddies, and I don't know what's going on. Like Bart said, conquer, but I'm not going to get into a pissy match with Matty D, that's for sure, because like my sister said to me today, he's just one angry bear. I mean, yeah, you can't follow a guy that's just a rage in the cage like that. At least I'm researching and I'm doing some investigating before I actually make a video. And then he's kicking my butt about it. So I don't have time for Matty D, and that's it for that. I'm keeping the faith, greatest potential. Keeping the faith.
You know, I really liked the guy for a long time, and I could feel his frustration. But look,
totally,
man, he's taking it out on everybody else who's not doing what he does. If you don't make videos exactly the way he does, you're a shill. You're a fake, false truther. You don't do shit.
Well, I think that this is a case of we tend to attack those closest to us, right? Like the majority of murders and abuses committed are not a person doing it to a stranger. They tend to do it somehow within their sphere of friends, and it sort of makes sense, right? It's just because of natural proximity on one level, right? But anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yeah, let's.
So Elsagate's kind of interesting, yeah.
Sorry, just before we leave the Trump dialogue, I just want to plug Allison's name here. Allison's talking about stay away from the negatives, and I so agree with her. So that there. I want to go back to I'm just digging it up again because I had an excellent comment on let me just upload it. Now that Donald Trump has recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital, what is Canada's stance? That was my last video, and Matty D came and comment on that, but I'm not going to comment on his comment. I want to comment on John Smith here. And there's always great comments. That's why I like interacting with the YouTubers. That's one thing that I noticed about Matty. Doesn't really interact with people. He'll take a poke at you, but he won't come back and reply. So just here's in a nutshell what the layout is with Trump talking about Jerusalem. Okay, John Smith left this on my Donald Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. John Smith, he says, Israel can do and will do whatever they want. Who is to oppose them? There used to be a time of powerful Muslim countries that opposed to this idea. A, Iraq. The U.S. took out Saddam Hussein. The U.S. took out Gaddafi. C, Syria. The U.S. financed and supported the so-called FSA and created ISIS. Syria is and will not be in the position to start another war. It does not have the manpower or the weapons to present any threat to Israel. Jordan makes lots of monies from illegal secret activities paid, financed by the CIA. They are not about to let that income go. That's right, Jordan. You know, they can flap off that they don't agree with it, but you know, what are they going to do? This is now there, and they already have some areas under control. Have Saudis. Saudis. Do we now? We know why Trump was visiting Saudi Arabia, and he made it there for his first international stop, did he not? He went and saw the Saudis, and then we had the Saudis taking out Las Vegas. Oh my God, a Saudi connection. Presently losing the war against
Kushner was in Saudi Arabia, who was just there.
Exactly, was right there. The Houthis and are involved in a large media campaign with all the almighty American war tools, and Saudi has the multi-billion-dollar army budget and close to 1.5 trillion in military equipment in the war against a bunch of guys that hide in caves and have inferior weapons. LOL. Gee, Turkey cannot do it alone and rather remain part of NATO. The Turks had so much money to lose and their army is ineffective. Just look at how many have died in Syria, 8 Somalia. It has been fractured and fractioned for the past 15 years and presently fighting a war against ISIS-style rebels. Palestinians, they have a few dozen men with old AK-47s and Kalashnikovs, probably. They mainly have knives and rocks. So who's left to oppose? Take me wrong. Looking forward to seeing what the opposing nations are going to do now that the red line has been crossed. One good thing I can say and see, it's coming out. If there is a large-scale war against Israel, there is going to be lots of dead and lots of Ali Akbars, less Muslim immigrants and terrorists moving to the West. And then he went on a few more lines. That's all I wanted to say. So there you go. Very good, thoughtful comment on how Donald Trump recognized Jerusalem as Israel's capital. There you go. What are your comments? Well said, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree. And isn't it interesting that the Saudi royal family are crypto Jews? And this really is looking, you know, I got to say this, man. I used to sort of shy away from people who were constantly harping on the Jews and constantly harping on, you know, literally the Jews, right? The more you look, the more you realize that this really is a fucking Jewish conspiracy. It is huge. It's everywhere. It's very old. And they got their goddamn fingers in every freaking pie you can think of. And every move, every geopolitical move made on the grand chessboard, as Zbigniew Brzezinski puts it, they're involved. They're in it. They're knee deep in it. They're behind it. They're responsible for it. They're directly involved. They're indirectly involved. What else do you fucking make of this? It's like, there's no wonder there's so many people who hate the Jews so much. They run the entire propaganda machine known as media, Hollywood, all the news and information we get. They program our children. And this Sabbatai Zevi and this Jacob Frank, the Sabbatean Frankist movement video I played earlier, that's some really fucking disturbing shit. It makes more sense out of the world that I live in if everything in that video is true, and it appears to be so. It makes total sense why we have a transgender agenda. It makes total sense why 200,000 children go missing in the UK, 800,000 children go missing in the United States every fucking year. It makes total sense why everything is backwards. Everything that's good is bad.
Maybe it's just a phase, though.
It's just a phase. It's just a passing phase. Don't look so frightened. This is just a passing phase. Yeah. One of my bad days. Guys, I don't know what else to say, man. I'm not comfortable being a Jew basher. I am a self-hating Jew, for the record, for anybody who doesn't know. I am of Jewish descent. Certainly, I'm not religious in any way. I'm not associated or affiliated with any synagogue, any fucking religion, anything at all. And I absolutely oppose everything that Israel is doing. As far as I'm concerned, they're absolutely illegitimate. Their illegal occupation of the largest concentration camp in the world, known as Palestine. So don't get me confused with those other Jews. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird for me, I guess. I'm not affiliated anyway. I've got no connection, so I make no bones about it. If you're doing something morally or ethically wrong, then you're under my skin. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I don't fucking care who you are. I don't care who I am. I don't care what blood is in my vein. It makes no difference to me. action speaks louder than words, and I judge people by their actions. But what are the actions of the Jewish cabal, the Zionist, secretive, crypto, Ashkenazi sect of the Sabbatean Frankist philosophy, where debauchery reigns, and we all have to be sinners to bring the fucking Messiah? This is just disturbing shit. Religion is disturbing enough, but these guys have taken it to a whole nubba level.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
All right, let's move on.
Not to be too diplomatic about it, but I have.
All right, so, all right, well.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to scare you off the topic.
No, that's fine. I just
making me uncomfortable or anything.
I'm not uncomfortable. I'm fine. Was just trying to express a thought.
Yeah.
It's when you look into these things, you can't fucking deny the Jewish conspiracy. It's everywhere. It really is. It's totally fucking provable. Look at Donald Trump. I think it was Truth Media Films. Used to be Red Pill. Saw a video from him, and I don't know if it was a new video. Someone had mirrored it, so I don't know how old or new the video was. But he highlighted all the people that are surrounding Donald Trump. And this video named and showed faces, pictures, names, and described them as Ashkenazi Jews. And this video was 25 minutes long. And the vast majority of this entire video was nothing but a list of fucking names. And there must have been 50 or 60 of them in this one video. All these people: finance manager, campaign manager, transition manager, major donor, blah, 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 Trump this, Trump that, Trump donor, Trump finance manager, Trump this, on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Jew. You know what I mean? All I need is a beat, and we got a song. So yeah, what the fuck? We know they run Hollywood. We know they own banking. We know they own the media. They own our president. They own AIPAC. We give them $38 billion a year so they can turn around and pay our congressmen to vote for them, vote for this and vote for that supports Zionism, and turn a blind eye to what they're doing. All right, I got to get off this. This is, it's just, you can't fucking deny it. Sorry, I tried. I really did.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm in a similar raft.
So we're talking about this Sabbatean Frankist movement where everything is bad, where redemption through sin, where they're going to bring their Messiah back. And that brings us to Elsagate, child pedophilia, online child grooming. So, Mark, you only, because I mentioned it, came to see the Elsagate thing just a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was kind of interesting, because after we uploaded our promo, just talking about what our show topic is going to be, Matty D makes this video. He mentions me. He says, I saw this on Rufus Cat channel, blah blah blah. Elsagate, or maybe it was he made a video of Amy. Amy uploaded the promo, and Matty makes a video showing Amy's channel, talking about the Elsagate. Matty says, I don't even know what Elsagate is. I had to look it up. Oh, really, Matty? Nobody does shit, huh? We're out here trying to expose child pedophilia, child grooming, and you're the only one who does shit, as you put it. Really? And you just fucking had to look up Elsagate, which is 5-6 months old. Everybody's screaming about Elsagate. Matty D has no idea about Elsagate because he's too busy screaming about Israel. And everybody else who doesn't scream about Israel. Fucking hell. This is everything, this Matty D, Elsagate, Israel, this is all connected. Everything is connected to what we're talking about here. Fucking hell. All right, so I'm sharing, right? Everybody got my screen?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of channels out there that are doing great work. And on this Elsagate thing, exposing, and they have been for a long time. But if you went to YouTube, like I'm doing right here, and you type in bad baby, this will take you right into the heart of Elsagate. Some of these channels, toy freaks, creators of bad baby videos, shut down by YouTube. By the way, I've got some notes here on Elsagate. It appears that all this screaming and crying that many of us have been doing about Elsagate has had some effect. So as far as not doing shit, it appears that we've done something, because YouTube has cracked down. And pardon me while I find my particular note that I had jotted down here.
Yeah, but listen, I just ran into an article that said that they hired about 10,000 people, YouTube did, in order to, you know, comb through all YouTube content looking for stuff to censor. All right, so so as bad as this content is, and I've sort of described it as like really crappy bad satire, right? It's in very poor taste and all of that, right? But it's also I think it's a bit of a trap as well.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Absolutely. I do absolutely want to cover that, because I think there's something being set up here. Yeah. Now, for the longest time, YouTube has facilitated these channels that create this content. Mm-hmm. And if anybody spends any time watching these, in some of these channels, they have their own children, or I don't know if it's neighbors' children or babysitting kids. I don't know, but they're using real kids. They're not just animated. So there's some really, like, look at this one right here. This is not a child that should have a pacifier in her mouth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look, I mean, that's just super, super surface. That's just the surface, man. Look, there's a lot of videos that show pooping and peeing in the bathtub, which ultimately is coprophilia, coprophagia. But the note I found here, YouTube has deleted or terminated the channel known as Hero Fun Fun, run by Eric Meldick and Dominique Stomakova. I think that's Stomakova. Eastern European couple that were putting out some really disturbing shit. Also, their other channel, Superhero versus Superhero, it was also shut down. Now, there's an article from Mashable I wanted to share, and I don't have it ready. I'll have to pull that up. But so far, YouTube has deleted 150,000 kids' videos. Okay? So, I don't know. Is that good news? Maybe somebody would say yes. That sounds good to me. Hopefully, they took out some of those, you know, shitting in the bathtub videos and pissing in the bathtub videos. It says so far, YouTube has deleted 150,000 kids' videos that were targeted by child predators. They've deleted 270 accounts and turned off comments for 625,000 videos. Also removed ads from another 2 million videos and 50,000 accounts to stop them from profiting from disturbing content. So I don't know. Is that good? Is that good? Are we doing anything good out here? Matty D's running around screaming about Israel, saying nobody does shit. Well, we're out here talking about Pedagate, and apparently we've had some effect. Looks like we've done shit, Matty. So I'm not reading.
Matty didn't know it was going on until a few days ago when he went on to Amy's channel, because he says, I subscribe to people that I'm subscribed to, and I didn't know this is going on. these guys are just a bunch of shills that are going to bring in the New World Order to silence even more channels.
Yeah. And all
No, Maddie,
while saying
we
that you
want to
don't do shit.
expose it. We want to expose it. We don't want to. We just want to expose it, my friend. That's all we want to do.
Is
And when you look at the hidden
right.
messages behind your little Spider-Man themes, you know, now I see why you like to have hot Marvel comic strips. Spider-Woman. Check it out on Maddie D for Truth 1 Twitter account.
So I found this little
Spider-Woman.
So it's Marvel, right? So Spider-Man is Marvel. Is a Marvel property character. That's owned by Disney, right? Elsa is owned by Disney. I think Aaron, we had a brief discussion about this, like what where are the copyright strikes against this stuff, right? If you're if you own those properties and people are using them in this way, wouldn't with everybody doing copyright strikes, wouldn't you think that this would have been disallowed, right? So this is what makes me think of it's potentially a limited hangout. It's a low hanging fruit kind of a thing where they put this out, people get outraged by it, then they take it down, and then people have a sense of having accomplished something. So on one hand, yeah, I think something corner gets cleaned up, but what about the other 4 corners of the room? You know what I mean?
Okay. Aaron?
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. Before I go into what I found with the Imagine Dragons and Elsagate, it's the YouTube Kids. It's the one. I guess it's another app that you can upload onto your tab and on your TV and whatnot. And YouTube Kids is where all these videos we found, all these style videos have been uploaded to. And the one thing that Maddie D did say that is definitely correct is a lot of these channels, and a lot of them are emanating, as you and I have looked at, Russia and
Europe.
And Eastern Europe and Asia. And when you look at the coding in the comment section, which we haven't discussed, but I'm sure most of the women that know us here have already looked at videos containing the comments and all these little one-word, people say, oh, it's just a kid, he's on his tablet, he's making mistakes. No, we're going to take a look at
some of them are, but no, not all.
Right, they're not. So, but a lot of these channels are emanating, and you can tell just by the way when they upload the video and they're in how they put the comments and in the description, you can see that they're not, English is not their first language, because they make mistakes in how they pronounce, their advertising for their videos. But YouTube Kids, I've got it open now, and it says, and I shared the link in the chat. It says, a safer online experience for kids. Filters, user feedback, and human reviewers. There's, Maddie D says, oh, they're going to hire 500,000 more people to be, you know what? Come and view my videos. Don't let a bot view my video and suspend me. You come and take a look at my videos. If you're going to shut my channel down, I want an adult to shut it down and not a bot from an algorithm. Right. User feedback and human reviewers to keep the videos and YouTube Kids family friendly. But no system is perfect, and inappropriate videos can slip through. We're working to improve our safeguards and offer more features to help parents create the right experience for their families. Get the scoop on all control features available to you. So, they're saying no system is perfect. Well, you're going to take out my channel with 3 strikes and you're out, and you're saying no system's perfect, and I've spent 4 years building on it, and you're going to smoke me? And these YouTube Kids channels that are pushing this pedo talk and pedophilism and you know, the scat with the P and the poo. And I mean, in my last video, I said pee poo out there. How can you be called pee poo and get away with it?
Yeah.
You know, my channel, and I'm getting, you know, you lost your primary channel. I was on the verge, you know. Matty D, God bless him. He's at 7 channels. Holy cow, Matty. God bless you for hanging in there, buddy. I'll try to upload some more videos for you, by the way. But seriously, a safer online experience for kids. And what happens, and you saw the videos, I've seen the videos, autoplay, and it's babysitting 101 for the kids. Mom and dad leave the kid, and the kid's just watching all these little cartoons with Spider-Man and Frozen Elsa. And like you said, Bart, my first question when this was flagged was, I did a Frozen Elsa video 2 years ago, and I used the music on it. I tried using video, and no, I had to re-upload without the video because Disney dunged me and they shut me down worldwide.
Really?
You know, 238 countries. Yeah, 238 countries.
Well, you were using their music, though. You were using their music.
I used their music. They let me. They took the monetization, fine. But I couldn't use the video. I could not use any part of the video. There's too. They do ding you with the characters because they're very, very Disney, as we know, is very protective. And we know why they're very protective because, you know, I mean, you know, Walt Disney had the room 33 at Walt Disney World, and no one knew what the hell was going on behind that world. Club 33, no one knew what was going on. Stage ground for child molestation 101 at the Disney ground.
You're damn right.
But it's Disney. Disney is what's behind most of this, definitely. And they're allowing, like you said, Bart, they're allowing these people to use their copyrights. They're losing. Frozen Elsa was their most popular video ever. It went like nuts.
Yeah, I think
that's one of the reasons why I did a video on it. You know, I was trying to be like Maddie. I was trying to get it out there quick, right?
I think it's similar to the way like various intelligence agencies, FBI, they'll have you know, informants and protected people that are protected, right? So you could be a criminal, but you know, they'll not put you through the court system, not arrest you, right? Sort of you become untouchable, and the idea is they so they can get to the bigger fish. You see what I mean? And yet,
yes,
you know, down the way there is a bigger fish, and that guy's protected, and the story is, well, so we can get to the bigger fish than that guy. And then you go up all the way up the ladder. Seems like everybody's protected. So it's about locking down the black and gray markets, controlling them, letting them exist, and then allowing the illusion that they're doing something about it, that they're trying to fight against it or defeat it. When in fact, you know, the worse the idea, I found the worse the idea is, the more profitable it is. So
that's true.
The
more it's promoted, at least, yeah.
Name the industry, name the concept. The crap, like it's like planned obsolescence with cars, right? There's something about putting out faulty products so that there's a whole bunch of work around them in order to get them to supposed to do, or you know, you make up big lies so that there can be a truth movement, so the people that in a truth movement have something to push against. You see what I mean? And then the majority of the marketplace is lies, and then you know, anybody that's actually, you know, truth should be free in a sense, but then you fold back in anybody who wants to like expose and talk about you know, truthful things and better solutions. They have to play in a sandbox of mud and glass and parasites and disease, right? So it's It's a weird game. These are weird games, y'all. Weird games.
Yeah, this Elsagate thing, when you're a parent and you slap a iPad in your kid's hand and you walk away to do the dishes or the laundry or masturbate or whatever you feel like doing without your kids around.
Funny.
And you hear the wonky music and the silly songs,
Mm-hmm.
and you think your kid is watching some kid-friendly thing, and you come to find out your kid is actually watching violence. Your kid is watching drugs and alcohol consumption. Your kid is cartoon characters, dolls, animations, drinking, violence, coprophilia, coprophagia, shitting in the pool, everybody jump in the pool after somebody just shit in the pool. Everyone's peeing in the bathtub while kids are in the bathtub. This becomes a learned behavior. This is when your 4-year-old child or your 3, 4, 5-year-old child is watching this stuff repeatedly over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's going to normalize.
The early stage development for children, seeing repeated themes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not making an argument at all anywhere through this that any of this is okay. It's certainly not. I hope nobody's getting that idea from.
Oh, go ahead.
That these things are like, not that bad or they're okay. No, it's part. But I just see it as a part of a much longer continuum, and it just gets worse and worse and worse. Whether you're talking about the Mouseketeers, 10, 20, 30 years ago. Well, look at who was a Mouseketeer? Justin Timberlake, what's her name? Britney Spears. And then look at the careers that they had,
Christina Aguilera,
Genie in a Bottle, Slave, and Dick in a Box. I'll leave it at that.
Mark, you've covered on numerous occasions Katy Perry with the fucking pizza outfit, the pizza swimsuit.
Oh, Katie's a weirdo. I don't like her.
Katie, the Super Bowl girl. She gets the Super Bowl gigs, right? And she does it. She's the heir apparent to Madonna. Be the one. I mean, you've got Lady Gaga. You had Rihanna, but Katy Perry and Lady Gaga are the MK Ultra sex slave kittens that are doing it right now.
Yeah,
sure.
but
now we've
but until the next one, right? So
yeah.
So it's Katy Perry this year. We're maybe around
flavor of the day, Bart.
Then there'll be another one. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's the flavor of the day, Bart, for sure. And then you have Justin Timberlake is going to be doing the Super Bowl this year, right? So he's, another little MK Ultra musketeer, right? He gets to be on the global stage on February 4th in Minneapolis. So he just played at the Austin, Texas, and now he gets to go up to Minneapolis and do his thing after, he's the one that did the Nipplegate with Janet Jackson. What was it, 20 years ago, maybe? There's an anniversary coming up.
Remember how that was shocking? So it's all about erosion. Yeah, remember how that was CBS shocking to people. If that happens
you remember
now,
that.
what happens if that happens now?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing.
No.
It's not that bad.
Broadsword made a good point. He said it's tougher than ever to be a parent today and keep your kids away from influences, and while not being the weird kid, because every child has got a fucking phone. I mean, Christ, I've seen 1-year-old children, babies in carriages with iPhones in their hand.
Yep.
So yeah,
Forget about
that's a good point. You try to keep your kid away from this stuff, certain influences, and the only way to do it is to limit their time on the iPad or not give it to them, right? And now your kid grows up, he's the odd man out because everybody else got an iPad. So now your kid's the weirdo.
Yeah, but well, see, there's actually no way to win except for like good self-defense, right? So you got to look evil in the face and defend against it. Because this reminds me of this guy's a comedian. It was on one of those silly variety shows, and he made a song about because he was homeschooled and he took his mom to the prom because he was homeschooled, right? So like, there's no way to win, right? Either you go into the cesspool quagmire of compulsory schooling, or you stay at home and you're sheltered from it all, but you're going to end up weird anyway, right? You're not going to be able to deal with anything once you come out of it. Right? So you're sheltered. Yeah. But when you're like 18, 19, 20, and then you step out into the world that you think is 1950 because it was 1950 in your house, right? Because everything was sort of conservative and prim and proper and innocent. And then you step out on the way, you're not gonna fare well. I'll just put it that way.
Well, my buddy Zach made a really good point here just a minute ago. He said, should we publicly shame parents that do use these devices as pacifiers? Absolutely. I say 100% yes. And my reply comment was that public shaming is a time-honored and an effective means of keeping people in a certain social order. Public shaming. Absolutely. Anybody disagree with that?
I don't like public shaming of any kind because it's a bit of a slippery slope. But man, I don't actually worry about other folks all that much. People have been fools since the dawn of time. And don't get me wrong, I wish everybody well, but it's about personal responsibility, and if you're a fool and you don't see it, then you're a fool. And of course, the children of fools get swept up in this, and of course there's a tragedy in that. But yeah, there's no easy answer. I'll leave it at that. There's no easy answer. But I don't like the public shaming kind of stuff. So I've been publicly shamed for wearing a hoodie in my neighborhood. Like I had a hoodie on, and a lady stopped me. She said, Sir, could you put your hoodie down? There have been some crimes. I would like to see your face. I'm like, lady, it's cold. It's cold. I'm your neighbor from 20 doors down.
Well, you know, Bart, public shaming works both ways. When someone ridiculous, like the woman you're describing, public shaming works both ways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I replied to her, but I could tell that that did not matter, right? She was on her high horse. She had her agenda. Nothing I said mattered because she was right about hoodies, you know?
Right in her own mind, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah. And there was no, well, I mean, I guess if there were some other people around. Well, but it was just her. Here's where
you should have said, you know, ma'am, I was going to go with my ISIS outfit, but
no, ISIS wasn't a thing yet. But
you know, I was going to go with my ninja mask and dress up like an ISIS.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a little over the top, so I went with the hoodie.
Yeah.
No, but public shaming is a time-honored, effective way of preventing people from engaging in immoral, socially accepted behavior.
Yeah.
Like,
well, okay, I do have something to say about that. Okay,
go ahead,
so there is I did read this in a book one time. I think it was Trickster Makes This World. Sort of essays on the character of Trickster in the world, and one of the things that got brought up was, do you live in a shame culture or a guilt culture, right? And I think that we live in a guilt culture, which is this idea of you're punished when you're caught for doing something bad, right? that there are institutions in place who are in charge. We've outsourced it to them to punish criminals, and that way people don't need to get involved, right? So you're seeing a crime happen. Well, you're not allowed to do anything about it yourself because that's vigilantism. You have to call the proper authorities. Well, what happens then is a whole bunch of stuff slips through the cracks, right? A whole bunch of people get away with a whole bunch of stuff.
Sure.
Whereas a guilt culture, I mean, a shame culture, might be something like, okay, if you're in a marketplace, you got a fruit stand, and all the other people that have fruit stands, and you look out for each other, right? So a thief comes in and steals an apple from your neighbor at the fruit stand, three doors, and you see it, right? Immediately you signal to everybody who's there in the marketplace, and they all shame that person until they put the apple back, and then they run them out of the marketplace, right? They ask them to leave. So that would be like the shame technique. Whereas like a guilt technique in that same scenario would be like, somebody detain that person, or
well, look, guilt is internal shaming. So when you talk about guilt culture, I see it as the very similar, almost identical to the shame culture. Because look, right now what we're experiencing a lot of, and you'll find it if you just go look on YouTube, what's known as white guilt. And that comes from previous public shaming. So what happens is the public shaming is an overt, while the guilt culture is more of a covert. It's an internal, personal shaming.
There's a lot to explore
on the fear of public shaming.
Hey, I'll admit that, but one of these things that I want to point out is that because we actually don't have a good idea of how guilt and shame are distinct from each other, these are two words in our culture that are more or less synonymous with each other. People don't really differentiate them. Like the way that it was written about, and I wish I could explain it better, but it was quite convincing to me that the two ways of being and operating are quite distinct from each other, and one is much healthier. Our shame culture is actually much healthier.
Mark.
Yeah.
Pipe up.
I just posted the Seth Rich and the Panda Bear.
Yeah, go into that, please, before we finish.
Yeah, I left the link. Yeah, I know we're past 10 o'clock here, so.
No, that's okay. We started late, so we're just going to go. We got another 15 minutes, and that'll be 3 hours. All
right. So
go into that. It's really fucking disturbing. Mark used to work at a prison. So Mark, just bring everybody up to speed and go into the panda thing, and I'm going to be back in 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay. So when I did my video on the panda bear symbolism in Imagine Dragons, one of the first things I looked at was just how Pizzagate and Seth Rich related to the panda bear, and I looked and I saw this comment, and I'll post it here. And there it is. The I want to put that one back in there.
Okay, so I'm looking at the. Do you want me to screen share that
in here? Yeah, it's the yeah.
Or I think I need
you need to give me the
Aaron
screen share.
I think I would need Aaron to click on me, but.
Okay, so anyway, when I was investigating it, I'm going to read from the the blog, okay? This was submitted 6 months ago. Further thoughts on the possible panda bear symbolism in Seth Rich family video. Bear symbolism, and you know why they love their panda bears. Well, you don't know, but one of the things that I learned when I was working in the prison, because we work with pedophiles and child molesters, is that when you bugger and it's anal sex with a child, and the child is in so much pain, basically the corpuscles explode around their eyes and they hemorrhage just from the excruciating pain. And that's why we see two black eyes on a young child. You know, it's either they've been hit squarely flush in the face, okay? So panda bear symbolism, and I was looking at it, and I went on this blog, and it says this is related to the Pizzagate, since the unresolved mystery of Seth Rich's murder is believed to be closely connected with Hillary campaign and the leaks of the Podesta emails from which the Pizzagate scandal emerged. The Pizzagate, because there was a thread here a few days ago drawing attention to Seth's mom holding a stuffed panda bear in the CBS video statement by Seth's family. And that's the one that I just posted. Can you see that? Did you open it up? Can you see the family sitting there with the panda bear beside Seth?
Yeah, I have it screenshot, but I need Aaron to click over.
Yeah, hopefully everyone's seen it, because behind them is your Disney paraphernalia. Again, behind it, I see the Lady and the Tramp. You know, and so once again, you got the.
Also above left, right, is Mickey Mouse, and I've always found it funny that it's a mouse, but the mouse is black and white. But back to you.
There's your black and white.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was also related to Pizzagate. Seth's mom holding the stuffed panda bear in the CBS video statement by Seth's family released shortly after Seth's death. That panda bears are a pedophile symbol, but I would just like to offer another hypothesis. Seth's mom was holding Seth's favorite panda bear, Bamboo, as a message to the viewers that Seth's death had to do with his love for pandas and his political views, with which panda bears are associated, namely with the Bernie Sanders campaign. Bernie Sanders campaign, they were all over the panda bear symbolism as well. He loved pandas. There was a tiny stuffed panda named Bamboo that Pratt, his boss, would always try to hide around my desk and other places in the office. Seth would often come over just to chat, but sometimes he would be looking around a little more purposely, knowing that Bamboo had disappeared recently. He's making fun of this, of Seth and the panda bear. And then what I found funny was when he went missing. I mean, Seth was murdered, but when he went missing, Seth was goofy and gentle and funny and kind. He was joyful and silly. He was the first person to volunteer himself for every humiliating office stunt. Lauer being humiliated wearing the Baywatch bikini, not bikini, one piece. This often involved panda suit, but it could just as easily require a bizarre mask, an ugly sweater, or his now famous 4th of July ensemble. He had just mostly strangely decorated cube at GQR, while others hung calendars and whiteboards. Visiting Seth's cube was like visiting a little kid's playroom. When we threw a birthday party for GQR, quirky panda-loving office manager, Seth came to work dressed as a panda. But the adult would not have agreed to do it in the first place, or at the very least would have worn normal clothes to work that day and just changed into the panda garb for the party. He was the panda all day. So I linked that. I went, that's pretty creepy. And you know what? I was a Seth Rich believer, but now I totally think that Seth Rich is a total psyop. I truly believe that. And upon looking at that, I said, this is interesting. We've got him disappearing. And then, Aaron, are you back? Aaron, you're back?
Yeah.
Talking about Tile. Tile, remember we had Tile as well, right?
Tile commercial. Oh, my God.
Tile the panda bear. So Tile is about the chip that you can use if you lose your keys or if you lose your panda bear or whatever. And, it'll notify you where it is, right? So Tile of tile goes on, and in my video, I show him making a video with a panda, and that video of the tile where the panda went missing went viral for Tile, the company that's selling these little, what do we call them, the little mini Mark of the Beast applications, little wristband or whatever the hell they're giving them, little tile chips. Here we have Seth Rich goes missing, Tile comes out with a panda missing, and I just found that very, very strange. And then all of a sudden we're seeing pandas and more pandas. And there's even a picture of Justin Trudeau, my prime minister, who I dearly love, sitting with two pandas in a chair, because at the Metro Zoo here in Toronto, they've got pandas, they've got the 5-year panda loan from China, the great pandas. So we had Justin Trudeau welcoming the panda, sitting with on his lap, sort of like he was doing with George Soros when the Fort McMurray fire started on Beltane Day, May 1st, 2016. Same type of chemicals that are used in the California wildfires. Just my thoughts. Just moving into Imagine Dragons Thunder, I was told to go and check out Imagine Dragons Thunder. And then all I see is comments like, at 1 minute, when I got A on a test, 1 minute mark. And all these people are putting, and they still are as I'm live now on the site, 1 week ago, 1 day ago, and people are leaving comments, and it makes no sense at all to what the video is about in Thunder. And this is interesting. Let me go and have a look at Imagine Dragons Radioactive, which was their first hot video, and it was produced on December 10th, 2012. And what I came up with on that 1 week ago was Berkay Becane, Berkay Becane. He put 29/11/2017 down. So November 29th, 2017. And he had 787 thumbs up and like 49 comments. And the comments were very strange. And once again, you can go and look that up yourself. I'll put it in the room. Another strange finding, because all of a sudden, Imagine Dragons win an American Music Award, and they're the It Thing, play on Ellen on November 27th, just the other week. When I made the video, it was just days after. Imagine Dragons Thunder live on the Ellen DeGeneres show. And when I was scrolling down and looking at the comments in that Imagine Dragons videos, which is their own personal tribute, and I guess he doesn't get copyrighted because he posts all their videos. And he put a comment, and it says, "Panda, feel the panda. We love you guys. Panda, feel the panda. We love you guys." And he had 874 likes and 25 replies. And once again, they were all strange. Just figuring this all out, as the panda bear is definitely a very symbolic the pedophilia world here, because we've got the two panda bears with the black eyes, and now everywhere I look, I see in the panda, and it's being reflective in a lot of these pedo rooms and pedo chats. And I just remember hearing that when the child is buggered and sexually assaulted from the rear, get very, very black eyes from the pain and the hemorrhaging of the eyes. So that's my disturbing finds. And you know what? The further you get into these rabbit holes, sometimes, but you have to hold your breath and come back out and breathe another day.
Yeah, no kidding. Well said. The deeper you go into some of these rabbit holes, the creepier it gets. But I mean,
that's very sad, but I think it is really important to talk about it. And I think that there must be a concerted effort, driven somehow, some way, by people who care and yet are bold enough to not just run away from this stuff, to expose it and hopefully do something about it, and at least put it on people's radar so that they know it's a threat, and it's a real thing in this world. I mean, I think one of the most dangerous things is if there's something dangerous, lurking in front of you and you don't know it, right? That's quite a black magic trick, right? To put something right in front of your face that's horrible and dangerous, and then it's wrapped in something like a magical cloak of some kind, and you don't even see it for what it is, right? It's tricky terrain.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do before we close out. I'm going to go ahead and screen share the live chat. I've had a lot of requests from people to try to preserve the chat. Particularly, Broadsword asked Mark if he can add the links to the comments after the show, because the chat is lost once the show is over. Mark, you're going to have to add those links in the comments as requested, because even though I can share the conversation, the link is not, it's not going to work. You know what I mean? It's just,
well, it's fine. I just responded to, I just said thanks to Broadsword there. So I've got all the links that I just went through, 1, 2, 3, 4. I just went through the 5 of them. So yeah, we can post those, and if it shouldn't block me if I post them, but you can always authorize them if you see that that I've been spammed, because sometimes we get spammed.
Sure.
If we tried to share too many links, they might spam me. But I'll share them definitely. I'll put that on a comment, and if you want to pin my comment, so it'll be the first one that they see, and I'll have all the links to what I just discussed there quickly, okay? Because people have to see what I was talking about. If they haven't seen my video, they have to be able to read these for themselves and go, yeah, I think they're onto something. So it's all good. I'll once the show's uploaded, I'll go over there and I'll put these links in there, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, if you get spammed, I'll approve it, and I'll pin your comment so you're on the top. So, so all the links are available. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I just don't want to be accused of not doing anything and not making any videos. Ouch.
So, Mark, can you explain a little bit more about what you're thinking around the Mark Rich thing being a psyop?
Seth Rich.
Or a hoax unto itself? Is that?
Oh, it blew up.
What did I say? Seth Rich.
Seth Rich
is what I meant to say.
Yeah, Seth Rich. Yeah, Seth Rich was he was another distraction. I think he was placed as a distraction. He was supposed to be working with the Democratic National. He was working with the DNC, right? He was working with the party
committee,
and then the committee. The DNC, the Democrat National Committee. And I think it was July 2016. He was out at 4 a.m, and the police had said a victim of a armed robbery, and he was plugged twice. And I think it was more of an assassination because he was shot in the head, right? So I think that Seth Rich, this has turned into a goose chase, I believe, because the one fellow there on YouTube that's doing the Seth, he was doing the Seth Rich day, day 1, day 2. I forget who it is. It's, you guys would know him out there. Somebody would know him.
Jason Goodman.
Anyway, the other one.
I know Jason Goodman had some kind of a Seth Rich thing going on, or some files. No, never mind. Go back. Sorry to interrupt.
Anyway, yeah. So, no, it's fine. But he was, he's been doing, Seth Rich day 1, day 2, and then he's gone on he's moved on. But
George Webb.
George Webb.
Okay.
And then people were calling George Webb somebody else, right? He was, they were saying George Webb is really
Dave Acton.
Yeah, Dave Acton.
It turns out he was actually Dave Acton's fucking brother. That was a shocker.
Yeah. Well, George Webb is still around, right? He's still around. So anyway, when he's involved in searching for Seth Rich, that's why I'm starting to flag it.
Okay,
if I look into it a little deeper. Yeah.
You know what? That actually gives me enough to go on. I missed that little the George Webb connection.
But it's like put another one on Hillary's death hit list, right? That's basically what it was. But
yeah,
picture now with him sitting with the panda bear and all the Disney characters behind, and that's so photoshopped. I mean, that picture, like, Seth's a little panda bear lover, and he's a psyop. He's total psyop. I can see that. So
well, I mean,
that could be discussed. If I got more than 5 minutes, I might do a video on that, but I don't know. I'll have to check with my time manager, Matty D.
I was going to say it's an interesting potential story though, because he's a psyop, but in what way, right?
Yeah. And Bart, they never stole his wallet, and his wallet apparently had a couple $100 in it,
or his watch, or his laptop.
A botched armed robbery at 4 a.m. in front of a Washington pizzeria. Like,
wait. Let's back up a second. He left the bar at 2 o'clock in the morning to walk home. A 2-hour walk. Right?
Yeah.
It was an hour or two walk. Seth Rich, he was some kind of high-level techie guy for the DNC.
Maybe, all of it caveated with maybe, right? Maybe a 2-hour walk. Maybe you did this or that.
Well, the whole story about him leaving the bar and walking home, and it was a long fucking walk. It was an hour or 2 hour long walk home for Seth Rich. What, he didn't call a cab? He wasn't broke. Right. This is not a guy who didn't have money for a cab. You know what I mean? This is a guy who was a little connected. He had a good job. There's no reason for him to walk. The whole concept, the whole story of him leaving the bar and walking home was complete bullshit. It's just.
But has anything come up? Like, I don't know. I look at his face and he looks sad and pained, and I don't know. I tend to think that maybe sometimes I can see something in people's faces.
Well, did you see his brother?
Huh?
When Mark was screen sharing the family photo with the panda and the Mickey Mouse in the background?
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. And
that's not Seth Rich. That's his brother.
Oh, that's his brother. Okay.
Yeah, the one sitting down in front who can't stop smiling.
Okay.
That's his brother.
Okay. But either way,
that's not pain. Right. That's a guy trying not to laugh his ass off.
Okay, maybe. But did anything come out about Seth Rich himself being abused? Anything like that?
No. I didn't hear anything.
Being abused?
I researched Seth Rich pretty good before we did that show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not necessarily that would come out in the research, right? Like that these aren't. These are clandestine, secret kinds. I don't mean to go down.
All I can say is I didn't come across any claims of any misdeeds, any pedophilia or anything that he was subjected to. That's all I can say. I don't.
Here's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is okay. So it's not like with the whole pedophilia thing, right? It's not just about that these kids are, necessarily whatever, and then that's the end of the story, right? I think they get pulled into and placed in certain places, like that whole idea of him being or wanting to be, the first one ready to be humiliated, right? Is that something that you had said, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah. So these things set patterns, right? And they put buttons into people, and I think I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but I'm saying these are long-term games, right? Like you know, the abuse leads to an initiation and another initiation and further down the path, further down the path, further down the path, to a place where, like, you know, you're one could be a, you know, completely abused, traumatized person, but it appears that you have a good, stable job and a life, right? And then, yeah, it's like MK Ultra type stuff, right? And it's like, but then you get pulled into this other operation. Sorry, I think I'm rambling a little bit here, but my mind just moved way faster than my mouth could keep up with. I saw a big picture kind of a thing.
Okay, well, let's move on to the concept of
Can you,
Elsagate.
Aaron, just quickly, Aaron, just quick. Can you give me can you give me a screen share on Seth Rich?
Yeah, sorry, I was just holding on to the chat there. All right.
The bike rack.
I'm done. You can have it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. The bike rack.
But before we close out, I wanted to cover.
There it is. There.
I wanted to cover.
See it?
Both of no, you're not sharing yet. There it is. Wait, almost. I see something. There you go.
The bike rack.
There you go. Yep. Dedicated.
So this bike rack.
That's right. The DNC
so
dedicated a fucking bike.
Son of Omaha, right?
That's an insult.
And friend to all, including Panda. See the bike rack. The bike rack gets the inclusion of Panda as well. So, you know, even when you're not looking, you can still find it. And that's off his wiki page too. So that's right off of wiki. It's in the right there. So this, you know, and then the mom said that, you know, they were upset that the conspiracy theorists were, you know, using this. And then Hillary 2 days later brought up his name when she was talking about gun control. You know, the whole thing just stinks. Anyway, I know you want to move on, but there's another Panda one for you right there.
No, that's fine. I mean, if you got something to add, I'm willing to stick around and do overtime.
No, I'm good.
I was going to say, at least they're not Jewish, right?
Who knows?
Or are they? I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, if you look at the brother from that other photo that we were sharing a minute ago, that's a Jewish nose if I ever saw one.
I don't know. It's hard to tell sometimes. Hey, I got this dog just staring at me, ready to get walked. But so if I missed the end of the show, I'm sorry. But got to go do this. But
well, okay. Before you run off, Barry, you got another minute?
Yeah, I could do another minute. Yeah.
Because the one thing I wanted to cover before we close out is this Elsagate has blown up in the last 2 weeks to the effect of, you know, YouTube is cracking down on one way or the other, and now we see these articles where they're hiring 10,000 human beings,
right,
to, you know, scale and moderate and help YouTube and Google, you know, moderate these videos and channels. So we were discussing on Skype, you and I, about the possibility that this whole Elsagate thing, kind of like the Pizzagate thing, was a setup from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I mean, now it looks like they're going to use this. Look, at the very least, this is going to be one of those Rahm Emanuel moments, right? Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Oh, I think it works on like 18 different layers at the same time. I think we got to get out of like polarity thinking. I'm not saying you're doing it, of like it's either this or it's this. It's either this. I'm saying it's like 20 different things at the same time, all layered, all like all the agendas are sort of connected and piggybacking on each other. I mean, think about the supercomputers that these folks are using to model this stuff. I don't know. Go ahead,
Mark. What do you think? It's
Well,
definitely going to be.
Sorry, I don't even think you need a supercomputer, by the way.
I mean, one way or the other, this is going to be used against the rest of us who are political commentators and those who expose, truth of all kinds, even though it's not the kind Matty D likes. All the different kinds of truth that we're all exposing.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just like I said, the truth is free, and the real truth is free. So, speak good, heartfelt, true stuff.
Bart, like anything, I've 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I don't know how long ago on my channel, I guess, I was getting caught up in, the whole, he's a shill, I just stayed out of it after the whole Trans-Asia 230 facts, Malone. That was it for me. I'm not going after anybody. Outside of, I did do a video on my boy, Dr. William Mount, but other than that, I don't get into fights with other YouTubers. I try not to.
Yeah, I called out.
So, yeah, I know you did. You went and saw it and you said, hey, you did a video on this guy. Good for you. Anyway, I don't get involved. I'm trying not to get involved in that kind of stuff. It's what we call, it's the distraction. It's all a distraction. Yes, definitely Pizzagate. I mean, that led to fake news, didn't it? All of a sudden, Pizzagate turned into fake news, and we saw that come in. Oh no, Pizzagate, the psyop is turned into, and then boom, all of a sudden, demonetization of channels, and all these channels now asking to go and join Bitcoin and gold and silver and herbal tea, drinkthetea.com and all this crap. So we saw that happen. We saw everyone going over to Patreon, and with this Elsagate, yeah, it's definitely something to be mindful of. It certainly could be another psyop. It looks that way now, but we'll see how YouTube handles it, because there's a lot of people now covering it. There's a lot of people covering it now,
and I would say
it's not going to go away.
Yeah, I would say, not everything has to be a psyop from the get-go, right? Something can just be hijacked and psyoped.
Yes.
Got to consider that as well. So
agreed.
All right, but I got to run. Do we have to do the outro music or?
Well, I'll tell you what, we are now 15 minutes past the 10:30 mark, which would have been our 3-hour mark. So if you got the outro ready, we can go ahead and kill it here.
I don't have it ready. But
Mark, we love you to death. You're your family around here, and it's always a pleasure to catch up with you, my friend.
Yeah, it was really there was a lot of good stuff there, Mark. Really enjoyed talking with you. Looking forward to the next time.
Thanks, Bart. It was a pleasure sitting there with you too. Too bad I was at 45 minutes not being able to get on, but hey, whatever happened, and I straightened it out. We're here. Great seeing everyone in the chat room too. Chat room's always busy.
Yeah, we have a good chat room.
Yeah, you do.
Starting to really get to know it better, and I paid a lot of attention to it this time around, whereas before I was just trying to do the show, but this time it was a different experience. Every time I do a show, Aaron, is a slightly different experience. Some new things open up. I get more relaxed. Yeah. Today I only drank iced tea. I stayed a little sharper. So.
Well, all we can all do is try our best to be just like Matty D, so that he stops calling us fake truthers.
Yeah, I'm working on
it. All right, listen, everybody in the chat room, a special thanks to Nils for his contribution, and all of our friends and everybody with wrenches. We love you all. Thank you for being here. C-Space and Jux and Sons and Daughters and Jesuit Order. And we got new people, Cheryl, Vincent, and I hope I don't pronounce Eliyahu. I hope I pronounce that properly. Blue Blood Guitar and Broadsword and all of our friends in the chat. Thank you guys for your contributions. A special thanks to Nils. We're going to see you next week. big shout out and thanks to Laz Valdez. Good guy. He's really got a lot of good info. So there it is. Thanks, everybody. We love you. Stay safe, and we will see you next Friday.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night, Mark. Thanks, buddy.
Night, bud. Thanks. You're good.
Good night. So I'm just gonna don't screen. I'm not gonna screen share. I'm just gonna run the music.
What am I paying you for?
Oh, by the way, I want to raise.
Good one.
Okay, I'm gonna be right back.